Hello Internet, welcome to another episode of Return to the Dales.
Hi everyone. This week we find ourselves in Suzail, the capital of Cormier, and indeed we find ourselves in the palace of the capital city of the most famous monarchy in perhaps all of the realms, certainly here in the Eastern Heartlands. Not only are we in the capital or in the palace, today's episode begins in the throne room. We have been given clearance by Caladnay, the current reigning war wizard, person in charge of magical affairs, the Ministry of the Arcane within this country. And they are serving as the personal assistant, bodyguard of the Princess Regent, herself an experienced veteran adventurer, but one who is finding it difficult to hang on to the pieces of a crumbling nation as civil war is at this point all but undeniable. Although one might say it's not really truly a civil war, but rather an insurgency of some particularly powerful individuals, notably Jesnar, the Seeker, the former Archmage, the former War Wizard Commander, and Captain Valkyrin, a Dragon Rider whose notorious ability to arrive at the city and then disappear again is causing untold chaos within the capital, grinding all activity to a halt and essentially besieging the princess within her own castle. So we are taken into the ruins of the throne room, and it is a shambles. It's clearly been hit by some pretty severe magical attacks in the recent past. There is some structural damage, and most notably, a wall that overlooks the courtyard made mostly of glass and of stone that forms the frame of glass, has been utterly destroyed and is in effect an open wall, providing very little protection to the princess herself. And yet, she seems more dismayed than distressed. Even in this somewhat exposed position, she is still courageous enough to sit on the throne, and she is attempting to maintain order and to maintain rule in a crumbling society. When we enter, we find her looking out the window, her back turned towards us, and as we come up into the throne room, we'll see that she's protected by a couple of her elite purple dragon knights, and of course, Caladnay, the war wizard. Are we taking any special preparations? We've just been interrogated by Caladnay, both magically and more mundanely. Is there any preparations that you make prior to meeting with the princess, or is there any special greetings or otherwise arrivals that you make during your debut?
So Mogs declined taking off his gear and handing anything over, so he's out of
That's
the
right.
regal meeting.
Suppose that once I get close enough, I would take to one knee and address her as Your Highness.
I guess do the same and just use exactly like the same voice line as like Eleanor did. You can't do it wrong if you say exactly the same thing.
Without looking over her shoulder, is it just the two of you there, or are there others as well?
Oh, I'm there. I'm just following. Just not doing the bowing thing currently. So I'm standing there awkwardly.
You will kneel before the queen. Before the princess regent. Say the purple dragon knights that guard this throne room.
I stare blankly at them and start speaking Sylvan. I don't speak common. What?
The war wizard glances over, and that glance turns into a glare, and she points down.
I'll sit down.
I know you are new to this land, but it is customary to kneel.
Kneel over me to dragons.
As the party stands there awkwardly, some kneeling, some sitting, some standing, the knights, their faces begin to turn the purple of their robes as their fury grows, their indignation. Princess still has her back to us.
My face starts to turn red from embarrassment.
I'll take a quick knee.
You may rise, she says with a sigh. She still hasn't turned to face us, looking out at the devastation of a burning, crumbling city. The wake of the purple dragon attacks are still echoing and reverberating throughout the ruin.
Your Highness, we come with news of Tilverton.
She looks at last over her shoulder. Tilverton? What news of Tilverton?
Me and my companions here have ventured beyond the Black Veil and have discovered what lies inside. And then proceed to give her as detailed an explanation as I can of the events of what transpired from start to finish, including the Netherese and their connections.
Who are you? She asks.
I am Eleanor Veyren of House Veyren of Marsember, Your Highness.
I know your house, but I did not know a scion of your house was engaged in such activities. Are you mercenaries?
Adventurers, I suppose, would be the usual term.
An unusual occupation for one of high birth, and yet an occupation that I myself once held.
Indeed, originally I set out to the Dale lands to pursue admittedly weak rumors of the Hidden Lord's existence there, and of course found nothing.
I found nothing. Well, if there is one topic that I would wish to know more about than Tilverton, it would be your discoveries into the Hidden King. Did you hear anything at all? Even anything that confirmed that he was not in that region?
I remember this just out of character. I remember Elminster telling us some stuff about the Hidden King. I think he said there's a possibility that he might have been spirited away. Am I remembering that rightly?
Sounds right.
Then I'll relay that to her. I'll say that I spoke with Elminster, and that he seemed to have the theory that the Hidden King was not kidnapped, but in fact spirited away, perhaps for his own safety.
These are the words of Elminster, are they?
They are, Your Highness.
Did he seem to know where it might have been spirited away to? Any clues at all?
I don't recall him mentioning a specific location. He did mention he had urgent business in the Hells, and that's the last I heard from him since.
Well, I would hope that if my nephew was to be escorted to some location, it would not be the outer plains.
Should hope not as well.
Are you a chartered adventuring company?
We are, Your Highness. I'll dig out the paperwork.
I suppose Flatness
She
hand it
waves,
to you.
and Kaladne will take it and review it. Do we have do we have like a charter? I don't think this group has one.
We did
I think
come
we
up
made
with
one
one, didn't we?
concession.
Yeah, we do have a
Yeah.
charter.
Well, yeah. What I mean is like, sorry. What I meant is like, have I written it up? It's have I put it into the game? And I don't think I have. Does anyone know what our details are?
I
Yeah, I
remember
think there
putting
was
them in the
a log.
chat.
Thought there was a handout.
Is there a
No,
handout?
but
Oh, cool. I've started making up handouts. I don't know if this group has one or not. I don't think there is.
Okay, I found that higher up in the chat log.
Very good. Very
Yeah,
good.
Soul Steel.
Soul Stealers.
Am I in the
Soul
wrong
and
group?
Steel
No?
was what we ended up with.
I thought it was
You put
blue.
it in Roll20, did you? Good.
What did?
Alright, I'll copy and paste that onto a.
What was that, Moog?
I thought it was blue steel.
Ha!
Could have been. I can't remember.
Soul and Blue Steel.
Yeah, there's a handout under the Heroes of the Dales section.
Oh, is there? Oh,
Soul
good.
and Steel.
There's a
Oh,
there's a
thanks.
comedy movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
got
I
the
didn't get it.
reference.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Blue Steel. What is his look? Zoolander. You guys ever see that? Blue Steel was the signature look.
no, I
Great
haven't seen
movie.
it.
Yeah, comic genius. Soul and Steel. I've never heard of you.
We're recently formed, Your Highness. Our activities, for the most part, until recent weeks, were kept to the Dales.
Kept to the Dales. Which Dale?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the regions of the Dales. I still say mostly around Dagger Falls, but
Ah,
we also ventured into the Anrock Desert as well.
were you in the region when the slaves were liberated, the Bedine slaves?
That was actually our doing, Your Highness.
Then I have heard of you. It's simply not your name. But now I have. Now I know that Soul and Steel is responsible for the liberation of Kaladne's people and their return to their homes in Anarok. Well, that paints you in a very favorable light. And your discoveries in Tilverton are of particular interest to me. But tell me more of this encounter with the Archmage.
Is she referring to Elminster or Jesnar?
Jesnar, within Tilverton. You mentioned it in your recount?
Yes. See if I can recall out of character. I believe he was there he was like hoarding magic items, right?
Yeah, he
He
was.
was like arms overflowing with them, basically.
And every time we were like, "Why are you doing this?" He's like, "Leave my tower, I'll destroy you."
Yeah, so I guess I'll explain that Jesnar wasn't very forthcoming with his motives, but he did seem to be very interested in the acquisition of magic items.
She looks over at Kaladne, the mage, and apparently the war wizard has permission to speak without being asked to, for she does. The rebel Jesna has chosen to attempt to usurp the throne. He has established himself within Marsember, having found a crown of an ancient villain. He has proclaimed himself king. The country is now at war with itself. Purple dragons against the war wizards, noble families against each other. My city, my country, is crumbling before my very eyes. I've never felt so powerless in my life.
Feel much the same way, Your Highness. If there's anything that we can do, merely give the command.
There is much that you can do. You mention in your charter that an interest in the mines of Tediamar?
That's correct, Your Highness. One of our number in particular, as it is part of his ancestral homeland.
I see no dwarves here.
He refused to remove his armaments, Your Highness, so he is currently waiting outside.
Is he a danger?
He's a little bold, I suppose you could say, but I don't think he is stupid.
Some silent words seem to be exchanged between the war wizard and the priestess. I would speak to him. And the war wizard doesn't seem pleased about this at all. I would speak to him. Fetch the dwarf! The war wizard commands the knights, and one of them leaves the room and heads down the long spiral marble staircase to discover the charge. What of Netheril? They were a historical anomaly for me until recently, but I understand that they have returned. Who are they?
In a sense, they appear to be archmagi of that long-forgotten society. They seem to claim this land as being their domain.
If Netheril fell more than 1,000 years ago, they must be lichers.
I don't think I was present for the session where we got the Council of Netheril or something. They're within an orb or something, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Well, we have like a permanent sending stone to them.
Ah, yes. I will mention the existence of this sending stone, and that with it, it's possible to contact these mages directly, although they are far from personable.
You are carrying around something that connects you directly to the Archmagi? They will know where your every move, the war wizard insists.
We've taken steps to prevent that. The said item is currently residing in a bag of holding, which we believe would prevent them from scrying upon our location.
Every time you remove it from your bag, they will know your exact location.
We endeavor not to remove it. They aren't very they are not very useful, not very helpful, and do nothing but insult you.
Do you believe that they have any connection with... She gestures out towards the chaos in her city.
I think it's quite possible, Your Highness. Whether it's them or agents of theirs, I think it's likely that they are at least partly responsible for this.
Ah. Here he is. Moga, you they don't force you to disarm. Though they do
I
insist
come in
on...
and
Yep.
I kneel and give the proper courtesies to Princess.
You are a descendant of the dwarves of Tediamar.
Aye, lady. Happy the truth.
I had thought that the dream of Tediamar was dead.
It's a living dream. We've been there. We're going back with an army.
That is bright news on a dark day. Have you thought about the logistics of running a realm?
I believe in the clans of the dwarves. They have plans. I'm a simple man, milady. More of a fighter. I'm just about getting there and getting it done, claiming the lands back from my people. Whatever happens after that is outside my caring.
That is unfortunate. For I should like to begin official diplomatic relations with your realm immediately. The light knows that I could use the assistance.
We have an army massing at half hat right now. We'll be the emissaries. We
She
could bring your word
winces.
back to them.
You will be taking soldiers out of my lands and north when I need them most?
We can make a call throughout the whole land. The lady up north knows about it. We did it in her lands after freeing her from the crazy wizards. They have evil ones whispering all your kin across the realm. We saved her from a curse. We did nothing in hiding it. Plain and open.
How did you do such a thing?
She was attuned to a cursed object.
And now one of you bears the curse yourselves?
No, we have since destroyed the object to prevent it from claiming anyone else.
Heroic. Innovative.
It's their wizards they be sneaking in as their emissaries. It's not so much the object as the magic that they be spelling over your people, whispering in magic and dark things in their ears.
What are the properties of these magicians? How could we oppose them?
Why don't you call up the ball and ask them? We don't have mages among us.
Would you be willing to surrender this object?
I would be.
It nods.
I believe it would be of better use in your hands than in ours.
I feel that I will be forced to engage in some level of diplomacy. If they have already infiltrated my realm, and if they are having a hand in my chaos, then it seems inevitable. Negotiations will have to be undertaken.
The only diplomacy they seem interested in is unconditional surrender.
Indeed.
What makes you believe that?
Well, they've already threatened to do what they did to Arabelle, what they did to Tilverton. If all the lands here don't recognize them as the true overlords, I guess, to use their words.
They will destroy Arabelle if we do not submit. Oh, the burden of rule. Long have I wished to avoid it. Now it is thrust on me. At the darkest hour, when I desire it the least.
That's not all. You see, we have a dragon in the town a little north of here that fell from the sky and infected it with plague. We'd be coming and talking to your clerics, get some help. Dispel this magic.
A purple dragon?
I don't know the color. The dragon full of purple fire with the plague on it.
It's brass or bronze, if memory serves.
Yeah.
Metallic?
He's out of his
Do you-
mind. When he comes in, he's good. He's a helpful chap. But other than that, he's a lunatic. The plague's been making him crazy. I think if you wanted a dragon on your side, top priority would be to help dispel the plague.
The year of rogue dragons is coming to an end at last. We are now in winter, and the year shall pass. Though the year of wild magic passed the year before, and we are still experiencing the wild magic. Perhaps the draconic madness will not ease either. I have been informed that you slew one of these entities, not a dragon, but a worm. I have been informed that of the coordinated attacks that we bore brunt to this morning, yours was the only victory.
We did indeed
kinda how
slay
we
the
do.
gargantuan creature.
Well, that would make you heroes of the hour then, and among the most formidable fighting force that remains in the shell of my city. And you will be using this skill to purge a mine and make riches?
Lady,
Well,
we come to
besides,
help. If you can help us get our minds back, the dwarves, and make peace in the north, that Vaughn has been creating distension amongst the dwarves in your kingdom, we'll help you settle anything you need.
Vaughn, that name again. A noble so low I'd rarely paid attention to him before then, before these dark times. And now I hear his name time and time again. Is he your enemy?
He's pushed the dwarves to the verge of independence. He's no friend of ours.
Let's see. Well, it seems that we share adversaries. This may unite us.
That's the fellow that seems to be in league with Symbia too, right?
That is our understanding. It seems that he is in service to a Master Benoit, who resides in the larger cities of Sembia. A wine merchant, the wealthiest wine merchant in the known world. Sembia's pockets are deep, and their ability to win over men of fickle hearts is considerable. And
Don't forget the horde of barbarians searching for an artifact of unknown power too.
yes, an artifact. Is that what they are doing? I had wondered why they had headed east. I thought that they were merely securing a border. What artifact?
The heart of Talos, we have heard.
I believe so, yes.
Where is this heart?
We aren't entirely sure. Although rumor has it that it resides somewhere within the Stonelands.
Rumor has it that they are in the Stonelands right now. Not the army, but the king. The false king. This Hrothgar, this usurper, has been spotted on the Diarali estate, the easternmost of the Stonelands territories, and perhaps the largest as well. The last to fall, as I recall. With Hrothgar away from his main force and in a known location, this may be the opportunity that we have been looking for to dislodge him. Would you be interested in applying that army in a local domain before taking them north?
The army needs to be paid, milady. If you can help us with their wages, we could redirect them to where you're bidding. It helps settle the South. Our coffers aren't as deep as yours.
Our coffers are quite drained at the moment as well. But I cannot offer you anything from my coffers. All I can offer is my goodwill and promises of the future that Cormia, the strongest nation in this region, will be your friend forevermore. I could use your army right now, and I could use your special forces as well. Your task, your adventuring corps, whatever you call yourselves. If we could direct the army to attack Gundarak Hill, where a force of several hundred of these Northmen are located, supported by their Sembian allies. If we could engage them with the army, while simultaneously preventing them from achieving their goals in the Stonelands, I feel that that lack of leadership would break down the coordination. It may even compromise the delicate balance of alliances between these Northmen and our rivals in Sembia. I cannot force you to undertake such a task, and indeed I cannot even reward you for doing so. Yet, if you wish to establish trade relations with us in the future, and I would dearly and desire that, then perhaps you can see that these rebels in Gloriana must be dealt with if there is to be any trade at all between Cormia and the Dales. If we leave it until the summer, they could be reinforced. There could be 1,000 more Northmen or 1,000 more Sembians in Gundarak Hill. If we strike now, not only do we have an approximate number of enemies that we may face, but crucially, their leaders are isolated from their armies. With a single fell
Well,
swoop,
for
we
the
may take
dwarves,
out the leadership entirely.
the army is meant for the dwarven independence in Tediamar. Your man Vaughn has pushed us to the brink of seeking independence. The dwarves are not happy with taxation without representation in the fall of the empire that be crumbling about. What say you if you can't give money for the independence of the dwarves if they bend the knee and give you fealty?
I cannot give money, but I also will not give war. I highly doubt that if any usurper should topple my rightly held dynasty, that you will not find such a benevolent friend in Cormia. I do not expect that Jesnar the Seeker or this Valkyran, the Dragon Rider, would look upon a breakaway province with quite the same level of diplomacy
What
as
about a
my own
Comarian
family would.
and put the dwarves in charge of their own kingdom under your reign and not have the will of the next Vaughn to come about, create havoc, put the destiny back in their shoes,
I will
unite them
not
as
break up Cormia. Gloriana will be retaken, as will the Stonelands, and Halfhap, sitting south of both of these regions, is an integral part of this kingdom. If you are seeking to be a rebel, if your army is part of this rebellious faction,
That's not what I'll be saying. I'm saying name a duke or a lord and half hap and in charge of the dwarves, a dwarven duke of yours. Let us be running our own government under your rule.
she nods
Then we'll have
slowly.
the dwarves' loyalties.
As regent, I have not the power to appoint a duke, not without the authority of the king, and the king is absent. Until the king is returned, such proclamations will remain ideas, though I am open to such an idea. Cormier has always been ruled solely by humans. Perhaps we might expand the criteria of nobility. It has never been done in the past. You may estimate the kind of blowback that I will expect. It is probably no surprise for you to learn that there are men out there who oppose my direct intervention in the governance of this fine kingdom. I could not name a duke that is not human. I could barely name a duke at all. Instead, I ask for a promise. I ask for you to do something for Cormier today, knowing that we will be your friend tomorrow and all the tomorrows after that. It is for your own good. Your realm will not stand on its own. And you will have no trade partners if not for us.
We came down here to be helping stabilize Gormeria. We don't have any fights about usurping your power. We just want to stabilize the land. Let the dwarves get on to their business and go back under their mountains and to their mines.
Stability is all I am asking. Stability is
Aye.
exactly what I am seeking, and it cannot be achieved until this Hrothgar is removed from the lands of Cormier, that lie to the north of you, that will separate your realm of Halfhap with your realm of Tethium. If you wish to have this land divided by barbarians and worshippers of destruction, so be it. And if you wish to eradicate this thorn in our collective sides, then now is the time. If you wait until the weather clears, until the snows have fallen and receded, the reinforcements that they can provide could be beyond number. The alliances that they could secure could be unstoppable. It is already known that Sembia is cooperating with the Zentarum and with Hrothgar. Will you wait for the Zentarum to cooperate directly with Hrothgar as well?
Lady, my hammer is up to you. Happy to put it to use wherever you see fit. However, the party here has to make a decision. Lady Eleanor is our lead, and the bird here, he's the boss of logistics. Well, I'm in favor of settling Cormier's business so we can get on to dwarven mines.
Indeed, I would be in favor of sweeping aside these northern barbarians before they can pose a greater threat. We have enough on our plate to deal with as it is. If they decided to invade the southern realms while we're in the midst of a civil war, it would be disastrous.
Our intelligence suggests that there are at least 200 of these Northmen on Gondrak Hill, which lies on the Muncie Ride, perhaps 100 miles or 50 miles east of Tilverton. 200 of these Northmen, supplemented by another 200 elite Sembian grenadiers. We cannot be sure that this intelligence is correct, and so perhaps we should double those numbers. They will be in a fortified and hardened position on Gondorak Hill. But in my estimations and calculations, the destruction of the army is less important than the eradication of its leadership, its divine mission. if your army can tie up theirs, while you yourselves seek out the king and end his ambition, then perhaps we can forestall the invasion without a prolonged campaign.
Not a bad idea. I fear it will take us some time to travel north, however, and Hrothgar may have moved on by then.
Yes, that is a problem.
What of the dragon ravaging your city?
That is true. We came here hoping we could help with that issue as well.
Yes, well, let us see. He is Cormyrian. He too is noble born from the Arabelle region, a vassal of Lady Lord Morwen, a relative. He has somehow tamed or made a unholy alliance with a dragon. A dragon purple in scale, but not the purple dragon of Cormyr, of course, and yet to see an usurper riding a purple dragon, well, there are some who would deem this as a prophecy. A false prophecy, of course, but there are some who see this purple dragon and his rider as somehow legitimate. The purple dragon is, of course, the symbol of our own nation. The dragon, Kaledne, it is thought to be a deep dragon, an underdark subspecies that is rarely shown above the surface. Why it would have ambitions on the surface, we cannot be clear. Its lair is thought to be at the edge of the narrow sea, a subterranean ocean that lies beneath the desert mountains, which separate the Dales from the Anarok Desert. Malistrix is its name, and it was a contemporary of ancient Netheril. I do not know if this links the Netherese with the dragon and with the usurper, or if they are entirely opposed.
Given what we've seen so far of these shadowy agents whispering in the ears of greedy and power-hungry nobles, it could be that these Netherese usurpers saw fit to bestow upon him the alliance of this Wyrm.
It is
At
as good
least,
as theory as any.
yes, at least that is what I would presume.
It would be an incredible undertaking, but it is my suspicion that the confidence that the dragon has that its lair is safe is the reason it is abandoning it for these direct actions. I cannot expect to find any explorers and spelunkers with such courage. Yet it would be a true blessing if there were any out there willing to venture deep into the Underdark to find the narrow sea and to seek out the lair of this dragon while it is absent. Such plunder that could be taken from the lair of a dragon some 2,000 years old, whose treasures no doubt include those of ancient Netheril herself. What
I think
glories and could be discovered by such a bold party?
should we be making the dragon first because we're going to be needing to pay for the army? And it sounds like such plunder could be useful.
Well, of course, anyone who were to plunder such a lair would be entitled to every cent of their discovery. I am quite sure that a dragon's hoard would make for a suitable treasury for a young realm.
Indeed, it would be in Cormier and Tethiamar's best interests to defeat this dragon.
The narrow sea was not always subterranean. It was the central body of water around which the Netherese Empire was originally built, when Netheril was nothing but fishing villages before they had the power of archmagic. But a disaster, environmental and magical in nature, diverted the sea and caused it to run into the Underdark, where it became a subterranean sea. It would be difficult to reach, but it is likely that once you have found the narrow sea, navigation would prove much easier than through the twisting, turning caverns elsewhere in the Underdark.
Hmm. Is it possible to perhaps acquire some sort of vessel and sail along this sea?
She looks at Caladne. There are magical options, folding boats, and other such devices, but I suspect that ingenuity would be your best option. I have heard of people making boats of mushroom in the Underdark, but traveling through a river and traveling across a subterranean sea, I would feel more comfortable in a mushroom raft in a river than in the open water. That is just me.
Well, as it so happens, we have one of the finest artisans among us that I have ever seen, and I have no doubt that he would be able to construct seaworthy craft for us.
Well, it looks as if we may have found a candidate for the exploration of the narrow sea and the exploitation of Melistrix's lair. This would certainly perturb her, and it would no doubt discourage her from any further attacks on the capital.
We have a sick dragon to the north. We could use dragon versus dragon. I'm sure if we can figure out how to heal the plague and fix the dragon, he'd be helping our endeavors.
Ah, yes, the plague.
It's currently a quarantine zone. I asked the Lady Morwen of Arable to provide some assistance in maintaining it, but for now it is something that requires immediate attention, I believe. Although how you would cure this arcane disease, I haven't the slightest idea.
So let's I guess, raise his hand, see if he'd feel like let him speak.
I, yes.
I suppose yeah, in Isabel's voice, to give the brief description of what is it, like anti-magic zone. I sort of look, maybe that would work.
Caladne and the princess look at each other. That is entirely possible. By cutting it off from the source, it would be like choking a fire and removing the air. But we cannot make an anti-magic field as big as a town.
No.
Can you make
You
it
should
big enough
start
for a
with the
dragon
dragon.
and the sick people?
Perhaps,
We can march them through it.
yeah, it's only my hope, but perhaps just being exposed to anti-magic for a few moments may be enough to cure it. If that is the case, then maintaining the field for a few minutes as the afflicted move through it might be all that is needed. Of course, I say that, but I have no idea the enormity of magical power that might be required to sustain such a field.
I'd be much more
Caladne,
comfortable fighting a dragon with a dragon.
guess Flightless will also point out there is an anti-magic field in Tethema.
Yeah, true.
Would you be willing to take these plagued refugees and subject them to your field?
I don't know if they have that kind of time.
No.
Can you make an anti-magic field and get it started?
Well, the refugees can at least be kept stationary. If the dragon loses its mind again and takes to the air and falls out of the sky into Arabelle, you're going to have a much bigger problem.
Yes. I think that keeping them isolated and where they are is the best decision. Kaladna, you are capable of casting that spell, are you not? Princess Regent, I am your friend as well as your advisor, and in my official capacity, I have no right to refuse your orders. But as your friend, I will not be leaving your side. You cannot send me away on this task to attempt to cure the countryside when you yourself need to be protected. I will not be leaving the palace unless you do as well.
What level is this guy? Much higher than us?
Yeah, it's a girl, and being the leader of the war wizards, she's probably an archmage. She's Badine, for the record.
Nice.
Out of character, I think should be like level 15 if you were a PC. I think it's how high you have to be to cast 8th level spells.
Badass suit of armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like it.
Well, if we're going to deal with this deep dragon's lair, somebody needs to go cure that bronze dragon before it flies around the rest of your country and lights it all on fire.
We're currently in a conundrum. We promised your town that we'd help them as first priority of business and find someone that powerful enough to cast the anti-magic. And if we can get a dragon on our side, the tables can turn quickly. I think that should be priority one.
If there's any priests or anything, we had originally been coming south to look for priests or clerics who might be able to assist.
Kaladne, the best I can do, Princess Regent, is a scroll, and even that will tax what little ink I have remaining. Could you not? I will not, Princess Regent. I will not leave your side. A scroll, then. Are there any among you who could use a scroll of this power reliably?
I think the only one would be Sildarin, surely. I'll check the cleric spell list, see whether it's on there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It is on the cleric spell list.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I guess in that case, Sildar on the Flightless could potentially cast it.
A little
How does that
inspiration.
check work again?
It's a spell. It's a check with your spell save modifier, and you have to roll above 10 plus the spell's level.
So if you have an intelligence of 18, or and you're a wizard, you'd roll d20 plus 5, and the DC would be 18. So it's pretty hard no matter what way you look at it. You don't add proficiency, do you? You just add your attribute.
The wisdom.
Yeah, just
I think it's just an ability check.
Yeah. So it'd
Can
be
we
less
else
than
were
50.
we adding to it before?
Can you buff it?
Yeah,
We
Sort
can
of.
go guidance and flash of genius.
Yeah. So short answer is yes, you can buff it.
So I think it's a D4 and a flat plus 3.
which makes it a lot more feasible. Maybe, I don't know the math, but probably like a 70% chance of success or something.
You have no other
Inspiration
mages
as well.
that lend to us to help. We're high clerics.
If there is such an individual, our party would guard them with our lives and escort them to perform this task.
I am afraid that Archmagi are currently in short supply. Vandergast disappeared shortly after my father's death. Jesnar the Seeker, who was appointed to replace him, has betrayed me and has taken the crown for himself. And Kaladne is my personal assistant and friend. And as you can see, I have very little control over her actions. I would have been better at making a political appointment, someone who does what they're told. But someone who is not as capable as me, my princess.
It's only a short walk, milady, and we have. How big is our garrison that we have walking with us?
Who do we have walking with?
That whole army that's camped out that came down with us from up above. Remember, that's where Artisan is with them, making.
Oh yeah, he's making siege equipment at the moment,
Oh
isn't
yeah,
he?
yeah. I remember.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was like
we
a couple hundred dudes or 500 dudes or something big like that. That
It
was
was like
surrounding.
5,000, wasn't it?
There
No.
was a massive army. We encountered them right about here, just like a day out of Suzail.
Yeah,
I can't remember what they were marching to go and do.
they're like providing security services for the town now. Remember, they're coming down to help stabilize.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about it. That's exactly what was happening. Yeah,
So
they
we
were
could.
on their way anyway, and we just happened to hook up with them.
I'm sure they'd be help to protect the princess if she'd be taking the field on a short walk. And
If
maybe
you
the dragon.
leave the capital now, my princess, it will the people will think that the Boreskirs have abandoned Suzail. You must remain here.
Unfortunately, I think that would be quite likely. And if that doesn't happen, then any usurper might use this opportunity to seize control of the palace.
Yes, I would feel quite the fool if, in order to save a small town, I lost the capital.
Leave this to us, then, Your Highness. I believe there's a good chance that even using a scroll with admittedly not a 100% chance of success, I think it is likely that we will succeed. Though in the unfortunate event that we do not, we will be left with an infected dragon and around 100 infected civilians, and the risk of passing on the infection to the rest of the realm is great and only grows with each day. In such a situation, what would you recommend?
She opens her mouth as if to speak and then closes it again. Looks out the ruined wall, the great glass wall, in this enormous chamber, this enormous throne hall where court would have been held in happier days. They must be detained. They must be isolated. It is unfair to inflict these lack of liberties on innocent people, but for the good of the realm, when the rot must be separated from the produce, lest it spread. Do not harm them, of course. Find a way to detain them. A colony, a plague
Very
colony.
well. if the worst should happen,
What
we
happens
should
if we
be
try the scroll and it doesn't work?
That is what I was just discussing, Merg.
Right.
The plan is that we will detain the unfortunate infected and set up some sort of colony for them to remain in until such time as we can cure their affliction.
Do what you can to banish the dragon. Though, of course, if there is no other option, then its blood is on my hands, and I bear that blood. I have never been involved in the harm of a metallic dragon, but I cannot allow a creature inflicted by madness to inflict further damage, further pain and agony on my tortured land.
Maybe we should send him up to Tethymir by himself.
Would that not spread the plague to Tethymir?
Perhaps we might instruct him to find an isle somewhere out in the Sea of Fallen Stars, somewhere where he can be alone.
Something.
Till he thinks he's a pirate again and flies away.
He wants a ship. Can you put him on a ship? Put the people on a ship and send them to an island.
I don't understand. What has an island got to do with anything? I understand the effectiveness of quarantine, but he thinks he is a pirate.
Unfortunately so.
Give him a ship and he'd be happy to quarantine there. I don't think he'd be leaving. Can you send some rum? How much rum can you spare him? To keep him sane.
You're losing me here. You are saying that the dragon wants a ship and rum? How will this help?
For some reason, the more he drinks, the saner he is.
It's more paradoxical, because as soon as he drinks the rum, he stops thinking he's a pirate.
Yeah, part of his madness, I assume.
Magic works in mysterious ways. Evidently. Can we spare a ship? Yes, my lady. Ships are one of the few resources we still have in great abundance. Very well. A cog. A cog, if available, shall be placed at his disposal, if you think that this will somehow help. And I suppose it will.
Can you point out on the map where the town is that's infected?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's Suzail, where we are, and where was it? Do you recall?
It was just south of Arabelle. It's like here.
Yeah, I think that's right. Whereas we picked up the army at the bridge, but the plague was quite close to Arabelle, close enough that we considered us turning back, as I recall.
Mm.
Ow.
But he can't transform that we're aware, right? Like, full-on dragon isn't going to fit on a ship.
Oh, is that right? Can he not transform?
He might not be knowing. He might be a seaman in his side life. Dragons.
We haven't seen him transform. I'm not sure we have any reason to suspect that he can at this point.
There is little evidence to show that bronze dragons have the ability to transform. This is normally refined to the silvers and the golds. I'll let me influence you. It is a good idea anyway. Even if the dragon does not accept the ship, then the people will. It will be hard to confine plague-ridden people, particularly given the random magical manifestations that have been reported of the infected. Far better than to put them on an island and give them all that they will need to survive and be done with it.
What about a little side talk here? What is that giant thing that can fly for us, carry a lot of stuff?
A zeppelin? I don't know what you're talking about.
No, don't we have that
a
one
rock,
cool
the bird?
Oh yeah. Will it fit everyone though? I don't think so.
Do we have a
Well, if it-
rock?
Yeah.
What,
We picked up a magic item that summons a rock.
Did we?
Yeah, only once
Pretty
though.
short duration, though, isn't it?
It's
Right.
a one-time summon.
That's fantastic.
have the rock take him to Tediamar. And once there, we could tell him where to go, and if he can make his bloody mind, then he could go to the anti-magic. Bronze dragons are tricksters, aren't they? Clever enough to figure his way to save his skin. If the scroll don't work.
Mm.
Or you can cast. How long would anti-magic work on your ship? And make the ship be anti-magic? What's the duration?
Looks like it lasts for an hour.
Mm.
I'll assume concentration up to an hour.
Hmm.
Are there any islands in Wyvern water?
Yes, there are. They are uninhabited, or temporarily inhabited at best. But there would be enough land to contain a few score people for a few score days.
Well, if we can fit out some kind of logistics for him,
Yes.
we can get him out of your land, put him on an island, and the dragon will have his boat. And if you can spare as much from him as you can, maybe we could keep his brain.
Let it be done. Let it be done.
Very well. If it pleases you, Your Highness, we will attempt to cure them of their affliction, and if this fails, then I will send a messenger down to inform you at once.
Excellent, excellent. Something constructive, something productive. Even a small win fills me with joy in days as dark as these.
And for the dwarves up north, Vaughn, he be in Winterhaven. That be his realm, isn't it?
Kaledne? Princess, our eyes and ears indicate that Vorn is not currently residing on his own lands, but has returned to Marsemba to stay in his urban estate for the time being. How sure are you of that? Not sure, Princess Regent. We have not been able to afford the energy to scry on him continuously. Can we afford the
If we
energy
could be
now?
collecting, if we could be collecting Vaughn and bring him back to make him have a call to come back to your council, and if he doesn't accept, then we go get him. I think
He
the
will not
dwarves would be
return to
happy.
the capital.
What's that?
He will not return to the capital. Not now. His hand has been played too openly. It is his support for Jesnar the Seeker means that even Vaughn, simple-minded though he is, would not make such an obvious mistake as to enter into my grasp.
Is there any way we'd be collecting him in Marsemba?
She thinks and she looks at Kaladne. Well, there is always the old-fashioned process of arrest.
I think Lady Eleanor has the authority to put him under her charge.
Lady Eleanor Veyren, your house is from Marsemba.
That is correct, Your Highness. Additionally, I am a born paladin of Seamore.
Might I remind you, Princess Regent, that the Wyrm family are also sympathetic to Jesna the Seeker. You do not need to remind me of this, Caladne, and I do not think that you need to remind Lady Eleanor of this factor either.
My face falls.
You
Well,
did not know.
no, I did not, Your Highness. This is, well, as I mentioned, I've been out of the realm for some time in the Dale Lands, and it's the first I have heard of it.
Ah, your father has been open in his support for my nephew, for the Hidden King Arzun V. He is said to be enthusiastically preparing for the day of Arzun's return, and yet he cannot abide the thought of my own self residing here in this tender chair. Would that we could find my nephew and these problems would come to an end. This
I'm
is
sure
the
it'll
most
go wrong.
important task. Above all, this is what we must do. Find Arzun. Everything else pales in comparison to this individual task.
More than the dragon.
Indeed, more than anything. We can reunite the country at the return of my nephew. Though we have a world to search, and maybe other worlds beyond.
It's a difficult endeavor it would be. I believe when I spoke with Elminster, the Archmage had attempted to scry Azun's location to no avail.
Yes, Vandegast had done the same many times. And he is a contemporary of Elminster, or so he claims.
Well, I do agree that it would be our first priority should any lead present itself. But I suppose in the absence of such leads, we will have to do the best we can.
She at last takes her seat in the throne for the first time since you arrived, and she almost immediately conspiratorially leans forward, clasping her hands together as if in prayer and also in deep thought. That it looks like you have your work cut out for you. You must engage with an infected dragon, shift an entire population of plague-ridden citizens, establish a colony within the center of a lake, and that will only be the first of your tasks. Your army can be sent to Gundarak Hill to take on the army of the Northmen, while you yourselves engage King Hrothgar in the Stonelands. Deny him this prize and prevent the army from consolidating or making further aggressive maneuvers. Travel to Marsemba. Do what you can to avoid your own house politics or sort them out. I will not give you advice on how to run your own house, but find out Caladne. First, we must find out where Count Vaughan is. Is he in Shadowfell Keep or within Marsemba or somewhere on the road? Somewhere altogether different.
If you arrest Vaughn, you'll have the dwarves.
Very good. It seems that you are perfectly capable, both in your ingenuity and your action. I will allow you to decide the process by which you undertake these deeply patriotic duties, and I remind you again that the rewards will come. We cannot give it to you in coffers of gold. We cannot reward you with gifts of magic or even titles. But in the future, when my nephew sits this seat again, and I advise, instead of being regent, just as a vizier, then we can talk. And I will not forget all that you have done for my family and for my realm.
Thank you for your kind words, Your Highness. We will do what we can. Because I think that's all the business we have to discuss out of character.
My nephew is the key to everything. If we bring stability to the dynasty, we bring stability to Cormyr. If we bring stability to Cormyr, we bring it to the inner sea. And if we bring peace to the inner sea, then the entire Eastern Heartlands region shall again be prosperous. The concerns of the year of rogue dragons will pass, as did the chaos of the year of wild magic before it. We can look forward to a peaceful future. If my nephew is found, when he is found, I have agents as far afield as Westgate and Sembia. Indeed, you yourself have found yourself in the Dales. But no one has yet searched Anarok. If the Netherese are behind everything, then perhaps they have hidden him there. In all earnestness, I doubt it. And yet, I cannot leave a stone for 1,000 miles from this city to remain unturned.
Definitely no.
Why?
Well then, by your leave, Your Highness, my companions and I will set about these tasks with all haste.
The horns of warning are blown. The sounds of erupting, grinding stone, buildings collapsing, screams from a city of tens of thousands of people. He is here again. For the second time today, he is here. We shall take a short break.
We'll take a
As-
real life short rest.
Indeed, we will. As we prepare to see what these horns of warning mean. See you soon.
That's why Moog has his gear.
I'll be back.
I think Moog is the only one that has his gear, right?
You guys are all like in your nice clothes.
Well, I hope you're ready to do like the bulk of the heavy lifting.
I mean, would they have stripped like leather armor off?
I'm not sure. I think they would have only had us remove armor if it has magical properties.
It's,
So
it's,
probably not.
it's +1, I think.
Then I think it's still a magic item, so it probably would have had you take it off.
I should have gotten like Nistral's aura, castles and everything beforehand.
I think the Archwizard would have dispel magic to it though. Like,
Probably.
just hit you with it. Well, it looks like we'll have some elite guards and, of course, an Archmage to back us up. But being a martial character with no equipment is quite dire.
I'm sure there'll be swords to be picking up and spears.
Hopefully, but going from like what was it? Let me double check. Go from
Invincible.
24. Yeah, going from 24 AC down to 10 is pretty rough.
Good thing we have 2 superior healing each.
Yeah, and I have five supreme ones on me.
Yeah, the supreme ones, whatever the S ones are. Super duper.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see myself being entirely useless in this. I do have a number of spells and whatnot, but putting out the big damage or taking damage is definitely not something I'll be able to do. That's gonna fall to you.
Someone's gonna have to play our artificer.
Ah, yes.
He's out with the army.
Well, I guess if he's out with the army, then he wouldn't be able to assist us in this encounter.
Artificer, yeah, no, he wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I was just lamenting the fact that all but Moog don't have their gear right now.
All right.
So I've gone down from 24 AC to 10. And from 1d12 plus 7 slashing on every attack to 5.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell. Actually, no, it wouldn't be 10 AC because I have. Oh no, I don't. Cause I don't. They took our rings and everything off as well, so I don't have any magic items. So it would be 10.
And I guess join the like. Do you think it'd be useful like if you? Because I'm planning on taking Ritual Caster for Flightless. How do you think? Think it'd be good if you join like the War Mages as well?
What kind of spells would you get from ritual casting?
Pretty much just all the wizard ritual spells. It's pretty much just a lot of divination spells, which I think would be quite mechanically useful for his Inquisitor build, but he's also been trying to learn magic since pretty much the start of the game.
Yeah, fair enough.
He did go
If
to
you think
Isabel.
it'll help. Yeah, if you
I
if you
just
like
wondered
it,
if they'll
then
let
do
him
it
in.
by all means. I'm not sure. They probably wouldn't enroll you as an actual student, but they might, I don't know, give you a few pointers.
Yeah.
Teach you a few spells.
Because again, I'm curious, like what her like actual skill, like what the Archmage's like skill at Arcana is.
Or maybe Finnick can go run and get his gear. Any of you martial folk that need your gear.
Well, me and Sildarin are out of luck in that respect, because while we can pick up our weapons, it's going to take us 10 minutes to put our armor on, and I doubt we'll have that.
Flight just needs to get his bow.
It's fine, I intend to kill this dragon.
Perfect.
Finnick the Dragon Slayer.
That's what we want. All right, let's start rolling again. So, within the courtroom, the throne room of the Princess Regent of Cormia, chaos is erupting. We can hear the horns blaring as the town comes under another repeated attack. And out there in the streets, buildings are collapsing, and roads are being torn up, and people are absolutely panicking. While the silhouette of a flying dragon appears a few hundred feet outside within the smoke beyond the shattered glass wall that makes up an entire sector of the palace structure. Let's roll for initiative.
Aye. My favorite words.
Ha.
Wait, breastplate's 16, isn't it? Because will they have taken a breastplate off?
Is it magical? So I
It's,
think
it's
it was
actually
set for all
non-magical, I'm
magic
pretty sure.
items. If it's not magical, I'm not sure if they would have.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't have bothered, no. You know, it's not about denying you protection, it's about denying you the ability to hurt them.
So Flightless still has 19 AC, because the shield is magical, I believe.
Alright.
And it's that could be used as a weapon as well, so that's gone.
All right.
I still
Well,
need to do my ones.
Yep.
I think we had to take the magic armor off because it's so much more potent than regular armor.
And also, I
some
mean, being
reason,
magic,
yeah.
it could do anything.
Yeah, true.
+1 plate mail armor fireball.
Or etherealness or something.
Alrighty.
All right. So as the shape begins to manifest off in the distance through the smoke outside, it's probably about 400 feet away at this point. 400 feet from the balcony, that is, and that's this point here from the lip of the window. Somewhere out there, anyway, there's a dragon flying around. You see those purple worms erupting from the ground and causing buildings to collapse. The Archmage, her priority is not surprisingly the princess herself, and the guards likewise seek to defend the royal, while she herself knows that while she doesn't consider herself actually that important, the realm does, and it would be a terrible blow for them to lose her. So she can't put herself in the kind of danger that she would normally expose herself to in the line of duty. So the princess wants to get up and fight, but is essentially ordered not to, causing her to somewhat hesitate, and she starts barking orders. Clearly a competent battlefield leader, but with what limited resources she has, all that she can essentially do is order them to stay on the defense and to get ready for the inevitable destruction. Flightless, what do you do?
I suppose for the moment, there's no actual enemies we can see, is there? Well, no one.
So,
On
400 feet away, out the window, there's the silhouette of a dragon, but it's through mist and haze and smoke and the debris of war.
I suppose everyone's looking at it, so I suppose he'll take the moment to perhaps take onto the top stairs so you can have a better view of the room. So you can see if there's anyone trying to hide in the corners. They can, listen to see if anyone's invisible trying to sneak up on the princess.
Yeah, cool. Make a perception check. So you sharpen your ears. And
the moment he will bonus action because of his subclass. And where's
yeah.
I forgot, but he has. If he moves less than half his movement, I think he's got that. He has advantage on the perception check.
Oh yeah. And you look
23.
around. Although it's distracting with the horn blowing and the smoke still drifting in through the open window wall and the chaos of the Princess Regent barking orders, there's a lot of distractions, but you don't see anyone nor hear anyone, and the room appears to be secure. For now at least.
I suppose he'll take his action to dodge.
Yeah, cool. Okay, where's this spell? My love, I come for you. A booming voice comes from outside, from the direction of the dragon. Marry me, Alistair, and together we will bring about a new regime, a golden age for the realm of the purple dragon. But she doesn't dignify him with a response. Finnick.
guess Finnick will look super excited. And where did we leave our gear?
Good question. Probably downstairs, not that far. Maybe 30 feet down and then 30 feet back.
So Finnick's gonna be, I'll be right back, and I'm gonna get my dragon slaying arrows, all excited and like a kid about to play with his new toy. And I'm just gonna run to where they are.
Very good.
As you start running, I'll call out, if you're going for your weapons, Finnick, be so kind as to bring the rest of ours if you can.
I don't have enough strength to do that. My equipment basically is my entire carrying capacity.
Well, unfortunate.
Pretty funny.
If I can fit, I like bring a weapon. Probably not their armor. I don't think I'll be able to carry that.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah.
Can you use
We'll
a
be able to put
+1
on
hammer?
anyway. What was that?
I have a +1 hammer. That Pyro
Just about
made for
anything
me.
will do.
There we
Although
go.
Sildarin also needs a weapon.
So it'd be the 30 feet movement would be my move, and then my action would be like grabbing items.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right. So it'll take your turn to get down there and grab them, and probably your turn next round to bring them back up and do what you will with them.
Cool.
If my halberd is too heavy, I have a longsword, a +1 longsword you could bring
No, I
instead.
could probably grab the hellbeard. I definitely can't bring any of the armor.
Yeah.
Enough carrying
we
capacity for that
wouldn't be
sort of
able to
stuff.
put it on. We wouldn't be able to put it on anyway.
Yeah.
Can anyone use a +1 warhammer?
Sure.
That
Yeah, I
Although
could use that.
I'd insist that you give it to Sildarin, though.
There you go.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
I
Sildarin?
don't-
Have we seen the dragon use a breath weapon of any kind?
I don't think we have, no, because it was on another part of the city when it attacked.
Guess I will cast Spirit Guardians then.
All right.
That's a good call.
And which direction is the sort of the busted glass wall out to the city?
Yeah,
This
this
way, I
one.
think.
Yeah, this. Yeah, so if you were to fall off this ledge, then you'd be free falling down into the hard stone. And this courtyard is, it's got like a fair bit of rubble in it, but none of the debris that the rest of the city is experiencing.
And we see the dragon to the south.
Yeah, that's right. Somewhere like 400 feet beyond the window, in amongst the smoke, is the dragon, and it's temporarily hovering, beating its wings and hovering, so that the captain can make his declaration of love. But it will inevitably fly behind buildings and through the haze. And so while we do have a beat on it at the moment, it's unlikely to just sit there vulnerable for a prolonged period.
Question.
Yeah.
I have a light crossbow in my pack.
Yeah.
Would I be carrying that pack, or I would let that down by a door in the room? I wouldn't have
Pretty
left it.
unlikely that you'd bring a pack to a meeting like this. Like, it's one thing not to
Okay.
be disarmed, but to carry around your pots and pans and your bedroll would make you look like an interesting hillbilly in the court of the largest kingdom in the region.
All right. I don't have my pack.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All I have is my hammer. Wouldn't have let that go. My 2 hammers. That's it. There you go.
Sildren. Yep. Yeah, Spirit Guardians. Cool. And he's AFK. A Moog.
I say my action to follow wherever Eleanor Gortz, and I'll be the sentinel shield.
Absolutely. I might put you behind Eleanor then, just to since you're reacting to her and you've got the same initiative, Eleanor.
Well, let's see. I think I will just see how far is that pillar. Just 30 feet. So I'll move up behind this pillar and take the dodge action.
All right. Need to make an adjustment that I wasn't expecting. That changed things. It did. Good. All right. You go up to the pillar and take a bit of cover. You're protected there, though, as you can see by this collapsed pillar, these things are not indestructible. Okay, and Moog, you, if you wish to move after Eleanor, you can, or you can just remain ready where you are.
Eleanor, you want me on you or the princess?
I think we would be best served as a vanguard of sorts, so I'd say with me.
All right. Boom.
Meanwhile, the Purple Dragons Knights, they themselves fill that other role and protect the princess more directly. The dragon flies between the various buildings and breathes its weapon, such as it is, and it seems to be like a thick swarm, perhaps of insects, of spiders, of spores. Just this like a, rather than being a gas, it's more like a blanket of locusts that come out of its mouth and spray the place like tens of thousands of tiny independent black entities that fly and swarm and move semi-independently from the rest of the swarm. And there comes absolutely terrified, horrified screams of not just the people, but the cats and the dogs and everything else that is caught up on it. Has this strange breath weapon, kills most and turns the ones that doesn't kill completely mad. The princess continues to bark her orders, and the situation that we find ourselves in is pretty much what she wants. She orders people to supply weapons to those of you who don't have them, crossbows and halberds and other pieces of equipment are available here. And so weapons start scurrying around. People start scurrying around carrying the weapons to supply you. And buy us time, Caladne! The Archmage does just that and puts up a wall of force, blocking the glass panel. Even as the dragon drifts behind a few buildings and goes out of its sight, goes out of our sight, the purple worms are still manifesting all around in the streets below. Flightless, there is now a impenetrable, invisible wall that is providing some cover for us. Flightless.
Yeah, so I just think.
Right. This is the window, by the way. I should have probably put it in earlier, but here it is.
Oh, so that was the door.
Well, I mean, if it's getting closer, he'll probably go off and try to find his weapons as well. I think he might be a bit faster than Finnick. That's 30. You can move 90 feet in a turn.
Sure. So you get down there, look around, see Finnick really struggling to pick up halberds and war hammers and longbows and fucking everything else, and you cooperate, and together
Get some-
you're probably gonna have more success.
You'll also make sure to grab on his robe of eyes along with the weapons,
Okay.
because that might be useful to see through the darkness and stuff.
Excellent.
Some lightweight stuff like rings, perhaps. Might be able to carry those.
I suppose if they're kept in like a little box, you can pick that up.
Very good.
So I doubt either you or Phoenix would be able to pick up a 65-pound plate mail set.
I mean, you
It'd
could
be
put it on anyway.
multiple pieces, so no, it'd be most.
They just bring up like your helmet or something.
Yeah.
I don't think I can even carry 65
Lol.
total.
Yeah, you're right though. Even if you could, me and Sildarin just don't have the time to put on. I mean, Wall of Force.
I can only carry 40 pounds.
Yeah, Wall of Force lasts 10 minutes, but I don't think we're going to get 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure something's going to happen.
Okay, so
Alright.
like I said, just a small box of like miscellaneous magic items and the weapons. We'll try to drag up.
Very good. And Finnick, along with Flightless's assistance, you managed to drag the gear back into this back into the throne room.
Do I get an action this turn?
Yeah.
I had a question. The dragon slaying arrows, do they count as ammunition in terms of spells and poisons and things? Are they separate?
Yeah, they are. So you can like dose it up with poison as well. Yeah.
Sweet. So I'll use my action to dose the dragon slaying arrows with the wyvern poison.
Very good. Very good.
Not purple worm poison.
Ah, yeah, the purple and poison. That one.
Good one.
Oh my god.
Good stuff. All right. We're in with a chance. Unarmored, we're still in with a chance.
Dragon shows
Are we
herself.
targeting the dragon or the rider?
Good question.
So the
That's what I
dragon
yell
pokes
out.
his head through that door and instantly takes like 200 damage.
I think if Finnick
And
critically
then
hits
Finnick
it, it
attacks
really would
again.
take 200 damage.
Never takes it good. Hilarious.
Imagine 2 critical hits in a row and he just one-shots it.
And I'll hide
But are
behind
we-
here and that'll be my turn.
Are we-
The Cormier plot line just ends at that point. It's just like, yeah, all right. You know, like, yeah, the dragon regurgitates the hidden king, and it's all over. We can move on.
There you go.
All right, Sildarin.
So really just holding, I guess, waiting for something to appear.
Well,
Yeah,
Flightless and Finnick was so kind as to fetch us weapons and magic items which are lying here.
Oh, okay.
Not our armor, of course, because we wouldn't have time to put it on, and they're not strong enough to carry it.
And the dragon's still flying around somewhere in the city outside of our line of sight temporarily.
Grab a couple of
Although-
rings then, I guess.
Sure.
Any of the stuff that Pyro set up for him, sending him away, all the big arrows and such, because he's been all he went into was a sentry position out there, fortifying. You know the.
Suppose you would
Ground.
miss the attack. He's like not here as a player either though.
I know, but I'm just saying the dragon's gonna be coming into you, being shot at. If he's outside,
How long would he have had to build blisters, though?
I don't know.
Still the same afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't been in here very long.
Yeah. Yeah, so after fighting our purple worm, we take on a massive dragon, and the mage who rides it's just another day for our party.
New
What
gun.
are we? 10th level now? 9th level? 9th?
10.
10th. Right.
Big 10.
Yeah, that's really it for me. Run over there and grab some rings, I guess, whatever.
Very good, very
Get back behind
good.
the pillar.
Lady Eleanor, we have a few moments, it would seem.
I'll go ahead and move over here and scoop up my. I think I have 2 rings. Yeah, I do. Take both of them and slip them on. Pick up my halberd. And let's see. Try and spread ourselves out a little bit. I'll move here. We're kind of spread evenly around the room.
All right. Moog.
Let me just check.
Mug's gonna fall back.
I think I still have my action, so I'll
Okay.
dodge as well.
Very good.
And then Mug prays, clang it in for a good fight. And gives thanks for war. That's it.
Very excellent. The dragon disappears from view, though we hear a grinding sound, and it feels like the whole world is shaking. The whole palace is vibrating.
Is that fiend digging through the walls?
Is it
Is that an
coming from
insight?
any particular direction?
Kind of in front of us, maybe below us. Prepare yourself, everybody. Prepare yourself. And she takes a more central position. Kaladno holds the wall of force, flightless.
Yeah, holding up his. Wait, just gonna get it back. Holding up his holy symbol to see a morph, he will cast Bless.
Very
He will
good.
target himself, Finnick, and Lady Eleanor.
Finnick.
These pillars, are they those cool pillars that have the little gargoyles, like statues on them? They're just roof support pillars.
They do now. Gotta have gargoyles.
Hoping to use my movement to try to get on top of one of them.
Yeah, sure. And you're pretty small, so you're like crouched down on top of it, are you? Like perched on its nose.
And my action will be summon the dragon, and the bonus action I will do the lightning arrow.
Very cool.
And also,
Be my turn.
I guess just like the point of the guards, like this criminal just walks and holds up their holy symbol and casts the spell of their god. I like the image. Like I think it's pretty funny.
Unusual times.
So Darren, you want to be protecting the princess? Put your aura around her.
Still Darren?
My turn now.
Sure is.
Do you want to be the front line? Without armor?
Not sure where it's coming from at this point. Sounds like it's
What's
coming
The
from
mug
underneath.
thing. Get to the princess.
How far can we move?
Perfect.
Continue to wait, I guess.
Continue to wait. And Lady Eleanor, the tension grows as the vibrations grow as well. Chandeliers fall from the roof. The pillars begin to rumble and roll. It feels like the whole palace might collapse.
Actually, I will use a bonus action to cast Spiritual Weapon.
Very good.
Don't you have some paladin buffs for us?
Let's see. What could I do?
Oh, I forgot to move.
Crusader's Mantle. Want more dice?
I don't have Crusader's Mantle prepared at the moment. I will go here, form like a little box around the princess, and she's also within 10 feet of my paladin aura. And also get these two as well. And I'll do more distances again, 20, 15. Right, how many creatures can I target? Any number of creatures within range. So I'll cast Beacon of Hope, targeting everyone in the room. So each target has advantage on Wisdom saving throws and Death saving throws. They get maximum HP when they heal.
Nice.
And that'll be my turn.
Righto. Moog.
Mo comes up and right here holds the actions and throw 3 hammers.
You'll only be able to throw one with your held action. It's the reaction only lets you make a single attack.
Okay. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. And the guards try to stay close to their princess. And the ground continues to shake. The ground continues to shake and vibrate. And suddenly, the floor itself erupts as a tremendous purple dragon of gargantuan size, the rider on its back seeming microscopic by comparison, arrives in the bursts through the very stonework on the ground. And the strange man with his foppish hat and brightly garlanded robes immediately makes the proposition, "Marry me, Alyssa!"
Target the rider.
Princess Regent wants to get straight up there, but her own guards hold her back. Chladne, what will she do? I think I know what she'll do. Immediately drops the wall of force and places a globe of invulnerability around the princess. Herself, so her and the princess.
Thought it was going to be power word kill.
Haha, probably a better idea. But yeah. Probably a better idea.
That dragon looks like it just told like a joke I would say. It's just watching for a reaction.
It's a weird pick, right? I should
like
mention. I was going to say at the start. I'm glad I didn't say it until now. But this is the very first time I've ever bought a book on Roll20 for a single encounter for a single monster. So yeah, consider yourselves kind of privileged. I just spent $50 US just so I could buy this dragon. Got
Not sure a dragon is worth $50, but it's a good picture.
Yeah. something of an impulse buy. All right. Flightless.
Your time to move into cover. And also away from breath weapon. And would he be able to shoot over this pillar here?
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess he'll send an arrow towards the dude.
Very good.
Actually, first, bonus action. Where is it? Insightful fighting. Can be a deception check. He's probably got pretty
Okay.
decent deception, to be honest.
He may have. But not that good.
Okay, and then I'll send an arrow at him.
All right.
But it seems everyone else has gone into combat, haven't they? I mean, it came through the wall of space. It is attack. There's a 26 hit him.
It's an excellent strike, and 26. As it does hit him, he erupts in a flame of blue fire, of electric blue fire, where the arrow hits. There's an explosion all around him, and you see this electric fire ripple across his clothing and then dissipate.
Is it the same blue fire as the plague?
It does appear to be. You've seen it before.
He looks infected.
Warrior
Maybe a
flightless
madman.
sound.
All the more reason for us to be rid of him.
That's the end of flightless's turn. It's 21 damage if you took any at all.
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay, he certainly did take the hit, and he seems a little bit distressed or perhaps annoyed by it. And in response, he points towards the ground and says, "My pretties, come forth and serve your master."
Kill the leader.
Oh no. It's a lot of were-tigers.
Kill the leader as soon as possible.
Wait, he can do that
I've got to target the
He can
dragon.
do that every round. Oof,
Yeah.
that's...
It would seem like he can.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice token too.
That's cool.
Like a tiger pup.
Tiger
Bloody
pup,
hell.
tiger pup.
Gonna claw your face out.
That one just peered right into the circle.
Ah, so it did. So it did.
Bad luck.
So as soon as it starts its turn, and it starts its turn right away.
Imagine getting summoned by the face just to be hit in the face by Talos, like shadows.
Don't think Locke's there at the moment.
Right.
Sorry,
right.
I'm back.
Oh, excellent.
Perfect
A
timing.
were-tiger has just teleported into your spirit guardians. It passes its save, so it'll be half damage.
Okay.
Shoot that fucking
Oh,
rider.
where's that? There it is. So I'd cast it
Brilliant.
at 5th level. So it'll be 25, half of 25 again.
Excellent. Half of 25. So starting with that, were-tiger, it leaps straight at the nearest opponent, which is going to be Moog. Human would make 2 claw attacks. Claw. 21
Miss,
mark?
miss.
Alright,
Nope.
scrapes across your armor, creating sparks, but drawing no blood. This one scurries up underneath Finnick, just runs straight up the same pole that Finnick did, and tries to scratch him from beneath. So while it's not in a great spot, it's used to this kind of fighting. So in hand-to-hand combat, Finnick, you'll have advantage against the were-tiger, but it doesn't have disadvantage against you. 14 and 9 won't do it, though, will it, Finnick?
No.
Of course not. Yeah, but all the same, you've got this massive were-tiger underneath you, scratching at you, and it's like a National Geographic scene, right? Like where the one where the rabbit climbs the Colosseum and the tiger chases it. We've all seen that clip, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. And Finnick, this one bounds straight over the very pillar you hide behind and lands behind you. And attempts to take you out from behind. Oh, he's got a pounce move. They've all got pounce moves, so this might come in handy.
That's a number.
That's a good number. All right. This target must make a Strength DC 14 check.
Who is this targeting?
You
It's not good.
bounce straight over and maybe judo flips you in midair or something. It's 15 damage. A strength save. Your specialty.
It's not -3 anymore.
That's good.
No.
Oh, that'll do. So it follows through with a second strike. 22, not enough, I assume.
That would hit because he's got his bow out.
Oh, it does. There you go. And a couple of Constitution saving throws for a completely unknown reason.
You're blessed.
I will use my inspiration
Very good.
because I want to give Finnick the best shot at the dragon, so I think it's worth it. It might be worth it.
All right. A DC of 12 will be a failure on a completely innocuous Constitution saving throw that will have no bearing whatsoever on your future.
Dirty werewolf.
Before you become a were-tiger.
Were-tiger Raven, this is awesome.
Oh, should I do an actual contract for the werewolfism as well?
That's what the con check was for.
Oh,
yeah.
I did the 2 for Constitution saving throws. I need to do a third one then.
All right. Yeah, so you knew what you were rolling for, so that's fine. Yeah.
That would be a 13 against the werewolf stuff.
And a second one since you were hit twice.
Oh yeah.
All right. No were-tiger Raven. Disappoint.
I know. But back at the start of the campaign, I did actually think it would be interesting if you did get contracted lycanthropy. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Interesting is definitely the right word. All right, Finnick, you're being scratched at by a tiger from underneath, but you've got this arrow dripping in all the poison that could kill a demigod.
It's a fucking.
I can use a bonus action to go invisible.
Brilliant.
Then I'll move out of the range. Probably might get its attack of opportunity, but
Not if he's invisible. No.
Okay.
Target, yeah.
Then I will take a shot at the dragon. Did it be
All
an
right.
advantage for invisible, or can it? see
It
me?
would be if it didn't have blind sight.
Get the bloody rider.
I have dragon sling arrows do negative damage if I hit them at the rider. Probably abuse them. Like
Aye. See what happens.
25.
That is
Alright.
a big boy hit.
25 will definitely be enough because ancient dragons don't have the armor class of mid-level adventurers.
And then I need 2 con checks, one for the arrow slaying, which is be a DC 17, and the poison check, which would be a DC 19. So I can tally up the right damages. It's half
That is
on a
unfortunate.
pass. It's half on a success, which is fine. I've done this correctly. There we go.
Oh! Christ almighty. And that's halved, right? Or is that
Oh, no.
is that yet to be halved?
One of those poison ones rolled on full by accident.
I didn't see that number until just now.
That poison
Well,
wasn't that poison one, whatever it needs to be halved. Everything else
Yeah.
I calculated correctly, apart from I did the full poison damage by accident.
I mean, that might
Very
still be
good,
over
very
100
good.
damage.
Turns out they are resistant to poison. Not immune. They're immune to anyway. They're resistant to poison, so that poison will then be quartered, I guess, instead of halved. So 14 becomes 7. 86 plus 11 is 97. Plus 7 is 104.
That'll get his attention.
Just insane.
I'll say, Jesus Christ.
Then I'll do it again, so just another 2 con saves.
All right.
Don't fucking do it again.
don't think I won't. Man, those saves. Look, this dragon. Fuck, I forgot to add the lightning damage to the first one. I'll just add it to this one.
Sure.
He's determined not to be one shot.
All right.
Probably need to roll to hit too.
I think so. I think we will need to
yes.
roll the hit. Yeah.
How
Oh,
about that?
yes.
I'm just so confident in my ability to hit it.
So am
like
I,
it.
honestly.
27?
Yeah. It didn't surprise any of us. 27 does it.
My lord.
Clearly forgot to set up the arrow slaying damage. Just going to do this damage and then
Bloody hell.
What's the 6d10 piercing out of curiosity?
Dragon slaying arrow.
the half is from the poison.
Oh,
The
that's
half.
the poison, is it?
That's a poison, is it? Yeah.
I know the dragon slaying arrow adds a lot of dice, but I'm not sure what it is.
So passing the poison means it's a quarter. A quarter of 42 is 10. So 63 plus 11 is 74. Plus 10 is 84.
Ah, yeah, and then it'll be half of that 42. That's where the dragon arrow disappear to. Yeah, it'll be half of that 42. Because it passed the dragon arrow slaying thing.
Right.
The poison, I think, is embedded in the 86 and the 63.
Yeah, that's where the poison's
Oh,
from.
yeah, right. Oh, okay. So it wouldn't have taken quite so much on the first one then.
Yeah, that's my bad. Just
Yeah.
adding that all
It's
disappeared
all
to the
good.
different areas.
It's all good. I'll round it off. Okay, yeah. It's severe. And the dragon is looking crippled and shocked.
Is there any blue coming from the dragon?
No, fortunately not. Or unfortunately, perhaps. I'm not sure. The infection seems to be strictly with the right. All the more curious why a dragon would serve such a being. If it is indeed service. A Sildren.
Shoot him in the face.
Okay.
That rabbit, man, like fucking
No.
like Finnick wasn't dominating the combats a couple of sessions ago, but now he's just like it's like the build has matured, right, and it's hit its sweet spot.
Just big boy paladin damage without even using any smites.
I will move down there. And
Yeah.
I guess I will use. Use that when I cast Destructive Wave.
Very
Yeah, I
good.
remember you using that before to great effect.
But the thunder damage portion will be max, which is fortunate because that's the shitty roll. So it'll be 56 damage
56.
on all of the bad guys, essentially. Everything within 30 feet that I want.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's everyone.
I forgot that word. I forgot the Tigers are attack of opportunity for the record. 56 for both of them. And con saves. The wizard is racked with pain, but the dragon bears it with relative ease. But the wizard is racked with agony, and he points you out, Sildarin, trying to get out a curse, but between the howling of agony and the chattering of his teeth, he can't actually find the words.
I'll use a bonus, the were tigers as well. We'll take the same 56 save for half.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm thinking destructive wave. Like, yeah, I forget that it doesn't have to that you can select who you target. Yeah. My mistake. 1, 2, 3. One pass, I assume.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah. Cool, and 52. All right.
But the spirit guardians are after him now.
On their turn, it'll affect them, yeah. And then I'll use a bonus action to move the weapon 20 feet and attack that one, the one that's fighting Moog.
Nice. That's a severe combo.
Missing, I assume.
That it will. The were tigers are too agile and well protected to be hit, though it was close.
That's all.
That's all. That's enough. Moog, you are caught up, distracted by a tiger.
Bad kitty.
Huh.
If that doesn't hit it, I'm putting a global attack modifier on it. Or using one of my things. Superiority die.
You have blessed too, I think. You get 1d4.
I'm not blessed.
Thought Flightless blessed you.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
So
it was
19.
Eleanor Flightless and.
Oh,
Finnick.
sorry.
So 19 to this guy. If it hits him.
Crunch. And being a magic weapon, it breaks whatever extra ability the were creature had, and is beginning to look crippled, though she fights on with increased ferocity.
So I'm gonna 15.
15 hits, 14 does not.
Well, I'm adding the superiority die to it.
Very good.
So the I'm using the one of my special abilities, which is the precision attack, where
Brilliant.
I can add the
Just precise enough.
just precise enough to do 34.
34, which will knock out one of her fangs, leaving her crippled and half stunned.
And I'm going to use my extra second My second wind, or not my second wind, with the military, the action surge.
Action surge.
2 more attacks.
And now we're gonna do use the action as an attack and swing again.
All right.
But this one I'm gonna throw at this naughty kitty here.
All right. And it's an accurate strike, and it's all the way up the pillar, trying to chase Finnick at the moment. So you hit her from underneath, and in the abdomen region, and it almost causes her to lose her hold and fall onto the ground below.
I'm out of business there, so I'm just waiting for opportunity attacks or defense or whatever happens.
Very good.
You get a 4th attack, if I'm not mistaken.
If you use an action surge, then you get all of your attacks back. So
Oh, then I get one more swing. And then
Yeah,
I'll
'cause
use it.
gives you your attack action again, so you can
Yeah.
get all your attacks.
Okay.
Does he have 4 attacks though? I thought he would only have 3 at this level.
I have 2 attacks
Right.
normally.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
you've used only 3 of them. Yeah, that's right. I counted it right, then I counted it wrong. So yeah, another one. Yeah, it's absolutely right.
So that's at the naughty kitty up here again.
Bam. And I'll give it a strength saving throw to hang on to its grip, having taken a pair of blows now. But it's latched on and not going anywhere, which means it doesn't fall into the Spirit Guardians.
Nice.
All right, Lady Eleanor. We're handling this pretty well.
We're handling this.
Uh,
Alright, I'm gonna see if I can finish off that Were Tiger in front of Moog.
Very good.
So I've got my bless activated. I've got any other damage modifiers. Slash
nice.
16. 17. Still up.
I was thinking of something else. Which Were Tiger?
The closest one. In
Yeah,
front of
the first one will. The first blow will kill it.
Moog. In that case, I will step 5 foot forward to make the second attack on this one instead.
All right.
And then finally the bonus action pole strike for 16 to hit.
Excellent. 16 will hit as well. Though this one, though these things have. How high is the roof? These things have climbed. This one's climbed up the pole, right? And so it's probably
Alright.
outside of the reach of the halberd. Yeah.
Alright. If I move a little bit closer, would I then be able to get it, since the halberd is a pole weapon?
Yeah, pillars. I'm trying to think of how big the pillar would be in a courtroom like this, and I think 20 feet would be about right. So it's probably outside the reach of your halberd even then.
You'll lose the sentinel advantage if you do that, though.
Sentinel advantage.
Well, I mean, for me to
Yeah,
protect you.
yeah. Yeah, I'll remain where I am then.
Sure. I'm not even sure if the wizard had his go. I might have skipped his go after flight lesson before the Were Tigers.
You said he couldn't speak because he got hit. Couldn't shatter off the.
Right. That was just window dressing. So I must have skipped his go because that was a legendary action that he did to summon the tigers. So I think I forgot to give him a turn. Yeah. All right.
I was thinking that both him and
You
the
said he
dragon
tried
hadn't
to
done
turn-
much since they arrived.
Right, like I was just thinking that myself. So I'll give him his turn now. We'll just say that he held his action until now, and he casts a spell. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I hate that fucking thing.
Up to 10 creatures of your choice that you can see.
Another one of these.
Well, you're in range of my paladin goodness, at least.
That's everyone in the party. I love you! Ah! Everybody make an intelligence saving throw, is it? Intelligence save.
Before I make this roll, good luck winning the rest of the fight. I reckon I'm going to be stunned.
Moog read a book before he came.
It got killed last time from that thing.
Use my inspiration.
Yeah.
And I got worse.
And we did worse.
Yeah, I mean, I still failed. I'm surprised. For some reason, I forgot rogues have intelligence for some reason.
Yeah.
Inspiration as well.
Very good.
I don't have inspiration. I guess we're stunned. A lot
Not
of
the best
damage.
screen.
Stun.
Jesus.
Oh, I forgot. I have my Ouroboros back, so I have advantage, don't I?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you're still attuned to it, yeah.
Never mind.
Does he target any of these friendly NPCs with it?
Absolutely not. No, oh, you mean like that, like the princess and that? No, he doesn't. They're out of range for one thing, but he's not here to kill them anyway. You can't marry a dead girl.
True. I thought he might target the guards or the wizard, perhaps.
He might, but you know, although you wouldn't know that, that would be in his mind unpatriotic. Destroying the city, good. Harming the guards, bad.
I might actually have kept the spell from that. It's half the damage, isn't it?
Half damage, 22. Yeah,
That's
and you got
23.
a 23. It's a pass. It's remarkable, but it's absolutely a pass.
I mean, if he survives, the Archmage thought he'd not lose his spell after that.
The dragon at last takes its legendary action.
I hope he just laughs at it, but never mind.
Finnick, predictably, you are the target of these poisonous spores. DC 19.
I'm stunned. Is that what I fail?
Not a Constitution save. No, it auto fails Dex saves, but not Con saves. You still, you know, your heart's still beating and all the rest of it. But that's like an auto fail, right? No, you know what I mean. Okay, 8d6 poison. 15. Oh, look at that. That's very low. Very low. Very disappointing. 15 points of poison damage. Lady Eleanor, you've had your go. The champions hold their position, and the dragon takes its last legendary action. And it's going to slap the drake. Dragon is, of course, so enormous that in a room that's 20 feet tall, its wings touch the roof even when it's crouching. Its tail lashes out at the drake. A 17 will probably hit.
Yeah, probably.
13 and make a strength saving throw or be
If
knocked
it
off
meets
the pole.
the armor class, is that this?
That's a hit. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. 13 damage, strength save, and if you fail, you'll be knocked off the roof for another 2d6 damage. 5 damage and knocked prone.
Up like somewhere over there.
All right. All right. And now it's the dragon's go. Breath weapon. A 90-foot cone. I've never used a 90-foot cone yet before, so I guess it's going to be pretty big.
Got to be careful with it, or he'll hit his princess.
She's in a glove of invulnerability, and he's an archmage. He knows what's going on.
Isn't a dragon breath weapon not a magical effect, though?
Uh-oh. Bad dragon. Bad dragon. Okay, so diagonal or not? Yeah, we'll go with the diagonal one. That's where we've got the least chance of hitting the princess. This is a 30-foot one. We want a 90-foot one. A 90-foot on one side is basically the entirety of the place because I think it's only 100 feet along. So it's going to hit everyone.
Well, it's going to be painful for everyone.
Right. and more and more. It physically won't let me blow one up this big for this map. It's just not going to let me do it.
We get it.
We get it.
It's just everyone, we get
You don't have to
it.
show us your breath weapon size dragon. We know you've got a big breath weapon. All right.
He's just compensating.
She. Thank you very much.
I'm going to misgender the dragon.
Oh,
Talking
modern
about-
problems require modern solutions.
Do I get cover behind this pillar?
Absolutely, but I don't think cover helps from wisdom saving throws.
I am sad now.
A cloud of spores, like tiny spiders or locusts or flies, pour out of this dragon's mouth and fill the place with a buzzing. A toxic stench overwhelms us all, and we begin to lose our minds.
Alrighty.
I think Flightless is about to
So,
lose much more than his mind.
Well, just FYI, everybody has been affected with Beacon of Hope, so everybody is making their wisdom saves with advantage.
Very
That's
cool.
good.
Not quite. Okay, 17, 18.
Zach.
Oh, I pass. I hit the number.
What passes? What's
How
the
big
number?
is your paladin aura?
Only 10 feet.
What do we need to pass?
19, I think it is, yeah.
Reroll that with my Indomitable.
Indomitable. Although that first roll is a pass, actually. You're not taking in the +3 for my aura into account.
Oh yeah, there you go. Phew. Then I won't. I don't have to retake it.
You take 26 damage on a save then?
Actually, I haven't rolled it yet. That just came up with a nice blue number, but I'll roll the 9d10.
When you hover over it, it looks like it actually rolled something in there.
Right, yeah, it's nice and
Whoa.
pretty, but that must be like a new thing that they do with the new books because I've not seen it before.
If you passed, you're getting a nice round 30.
Exactly. This is easier to calculate. Less psychic damage to the player.
I mean, I don't have to do any math at all because both of those numbers drop me to the floor.
Oh,
At least
really?
I'm not
That's
stunned
easy.
anymore. I'm downed.
Oh, then as you fall, Finnick, you take another failed death save because you crash from the sky. Bam. So yeah, one failed death save. Tigers. I guess the tigers have to do it too.
Yeah, rip tigers.
He tried so
tiger.
hard to keep hold of that, like that literally legendary concentration, and no, just it was too much. His body gave in before his mind did.
60 psychic damage. Oof. I think the guards and the princess and the magician has to as well.
The guards got a 20 and a 21 on their wisdom saving throw.
Oh,
The princess's character sheet isn't made up, so she passes. The beautiful of I didn't bring my character sheet today. Means
I wish I could do that.
mortal.
I bet she bought the pizza. That's why you're doing this.
Kaladne is going to be suffering severely, though. Kaladne! I can hang on, princess! No, you can't! Get us out of here!
Teleport to avoid leaving us behind.
That's cold.
I'm the king now!
But I guess realistically for Cormia, that would be the best move.
Probably. Alright. Alright. The Princess Regent, she wants to go out there and get involved, but you know, she hates this job. She hates this job. Aladne, what can she do?
Can heal
I think drinking a potion would probably be the best thing. That's a concentration spell, and surely Glaive of Invulnerability is concentration. It's got to be, right? Yeah, of course it is. This might be a plan. Time stop. No time passes for others, so she gets a D4 plus 1 turns, and she can drink a lot of potions in a D4 plus 1 turns, right?
And they're maximized as
Potentially.
well.
If she drinks healing potions, yeah, max HP.
Yeah, so I'll put her back at max hit points as time just stops around us, and she prepares herself. I think she can't cast any spells with time spots though. The spell ends if one of the actions affects a creature other than you or an object. Right. So healing potions are fine.
Like she could
Buff
cast like
herself.
Blur or like Mirror Image, or like maybe even Wall of Force, because it doesn't affect creatures.
Yeah, good idea. Mirror Image is not a bad choice. I don't think Mind Blank's going to help, is it? That's just immune to
Magic
psychic
missile.
damage. That would have been nice. That would have been nice.
And I guess lastly, if it's the last round of the time stop, like there's no reason not to cast something that affects a creature because the spell ends either way.
Yeah, exactly. None of these are concentration, are they? No. So she's got 2 more actions to go. Doesn't really need the last one. So one of those would be drinking a potion. So 3 spells. A potion of heal, not a healing potion, but a potion of heal. And at last, her final thing. The other wizard's not concentrating on any spells, so magic missile's not that useful. Glaive of Invulnerability. Some things never go out of fashion, and lightning bolt is one of them.
Nice.
Let's not fuck around. Let's use a 5th level spell. And although it's primarily directed at the mage, dexterity saving throw passes. It also affects the dragon. Passes. 42 halved is a meager 21. Less than half of what I hoped for.
Still pretty fruitful. 6 turns.
Yes, it wasn't bad. Bit of a rot. And that's why she's Archmage. Flightless.
Flightless rolls a death saving throw.
With advantage.
At noblesse. But a pass nonetheless.
Alright. Marry me, Alistair. He says, severely injured now, both he and his dragon. I shall return. Bonded Dragon Rider. I think that this is the right spell. Is this a self spell? You and up to 8 willing creatures. That's not a self spell, but he is a willing creature. Teleport.
Whoop. He's gone.
Whoop. The Were Tiger. Ooh. He looks. Oh. The Were Tiger snatches up Flightless as a hostage, holds her claws to his throat, and drags him towards the hole in the window.
No, you fucking don't.
Finnick. You are already on one failed death save.
Hey,
Oh, welcome back.
Nice.
the nat 20. That's so you get up and you get to act, right?
Yes, you get up, you're on 1 hit point, and it's the start of your turn.
Sweet. I'm gonna come around the corner, unhand my friend, and I'm gonna
Don't
take a shot at him.
All right, you take your shot, and she uses her reaction to attack.
To bite flightless.
Yeah, to open up his jugular with her claw.
Good God.
Does a 17 hit flightless?
I think he's currently AFK. I have to check.
I think it's 17 is his number, actually. No,
It does.
no, 17's Phoenix number.
Yeah, Flightless is more AC than me.
Yes, of course he does. The first one will land in the tiger's chest, and she will gasp and begin to bleed. And the second one, and she will be pinned up against the wall.
I'll be right back. I just had some guests arrive. That's why he's AFK.
All right, I will take a short break as well then, and we can all breathe a sigh of relief.
Indeed.
Good times. Or flightless.
I know.
Keeps tanking.
I think me and Sildarin have Revivify prepared though. And I'm sure we have some Diamond Dust. I'm pretty sure we would have been able to save him.
Is Flightless dead?
No, I think he's on. Hold on, let me check.
I can heal him on my turn.
He's definitely not dead. I'm just not sure how many death saves he's failed. I think he's passed 1 and failed none. Yeah, he's passed 1, failed none. So he should have plenty of time to get to him. Beacon of Hope giving Finnick the clutch nat 20 to stand up and skewer that bloody were-tiger.
You should have shot the rider. You'd have killed him.
Finnick's AFK at the moment, sadly.
Bloody mad bastard.
Indeed, and looking around to what's left of the throne room. They're absolute ruin. Arctic's also AFK, I believe.
Still got that max healing thing.
Yeah, it's in effect for a full minute, so we've still got a couple of rounds to make full use of it if we want to.
I'm doing this my second win then. And I'll have a
I
20.
can hit Flightless with a healing word for 21.
All right, flightless.
21.
You are brought back from the brink of death. All right. You did it. You drove him off. Victory is ours. Kaladne, I am perfectly fine, princess.
What of
He's
yourself, Your Highness?
insane, just like the dragon was. He's infected. We got a madman. Infected with the disease.
I did notice the rippling of blue flames upon him.
As did I. It is clear that his mind is completely lost, though how he has managed to bond with a dragon and take it outside of its natural environment is a mystery.
begin to cast a prayer of healing.
At 10 minutes.
Guess I could probably cast a couple regular healing spells before I need to start that.
Sure.
Well, you needn't worry about me.
Need to worry about me.
Yeah, true. You're
Well, use a second wind, got up to 66.
Apologize for the disruption. Had a
30.
visitor.
Yeah, not at all, man. Like, gotta do what you gotta do. You were almost killed, but thankfully, because you weren't here, the immortality clause saved you. No, it didn't really. Finnick did. Though
Hit
Finnick,
myself with a cure wounds.
Finnick also put you in
I guess he was
exceptional
gonna throw
amounts
me
of
out the
danger
window.
as well. Yeah, but had her claws to your throat and was dragging you away as a hostage. And Finnick thought that it would be an excellent idea to shoot you.
I can't be
The
a
were
hostage if
tiger.
I die.
Exactly.
But I
We've
guess he
got
just.
spare diamonds, right, guys? Somebody's got a diamond, right? All right,
But
let's.
I guess Finnick just rolled 2 nat ones and killed the were tiger instead.
Pretty much. That's all it took. The were tiger did get their attack off, but AC 17 won't hit you, will it? Will it? Maybe it will. Armor
What's it
class
called?
17.
He's gone again, but he said when we're talking about, he said his AC was 19.
19, right? Okay, because like he would be dead otherwise. There'd be 2 automatic failed death saves, and I think that would be instant death.
Finnick, I'll hit you with a cure spell before the Beacon Hope wears off too for 29.
Very good.
It's like half my HP. That's a good heal.
Woohoo!
Before it wears off as well, can I drink a potion of greater healing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you need it?
Get back up to full.
Very good.
I'm quite fond
Is
of
this a
both
short
Beacon of
rest?
Hope.
Am I still rolling death saves?
Armor
No,
class
no.
17 or lower?
My armor class is 19.
Then you are fine. He rips out some feathers, but he could not find your spindly little bird neck, your greatest evolutionary feature.
Yeah, Sildarin hit you with a healing word for 21 healing.
That's a lot of healing.
Thanks to Beacon of Hope.
While doing short rest. Back up.
I would die! I would let my dynasty fall and be extinguished before I would marry you, she says to no one in particular.
Finnick's going to have a little hissy fit, throw his bow to the ground and say, "Fuck, I forgot to drink my potion of speed," and then just headbutt the wall and cry.
I could have owned that dragon!
Could have killed it in one turn. He's just going to have a little sulk in the corner because he's like, to him it's all a video game and he didn't use his items correctly and he's annoyed.
Damn. Can I reload it? Can I? Damn,
Quick
I
load.
hate Iron Moan mode. Yeah.
Oh, because he's going for achievements this time, so he has to do Iron Man.
Well, don't we all? It's the only way to play. The
That's
chaos.
Dave's come.
That's right. The chaos in the city subsides. The purple worms retreat back into the earth. A few buildings slide over, their roofs collapsing in on themselves and falling. But the dust begins to settle over the course of the next 2 or 3 minutes. The city is once again brought under control. It will be a while before he tries that again. Your defenses have proved critical in the savior of the throne room. Princess Regent, perhaps it would be wise to offer this entourage the opportunity to serve as your royal guard, given their exemplary performance. I would make such an offer, Caladne, but I do not think that it would be accepted.
I would accept it gratefully, Your Highness, though I feel I could do more out in the world.
Yes, and you are right. My life is nothing compared to that of the Hidden King. Promise me this, Lady Eleanor, that you will search everywhere everywhere that you go, no matter what quest you find yourself on, no matter what task, no matter whose hospitality you fall underneath, do not cease in your search. Do not allow it for a moment to fall from your highest priorities, the recovery of Arzun V.
I swear. I'll sort of bow my head and take a ponderous moment as I. Yes, I'll go through the motions and actually say I'll swear on the Seamorph, even proper oath.
She accepts it. I am confident that Seamorph believes that when this ordeal is over, Marsemba will need new leadership, as will your house.
Perhaps it will, if they have thrown their lot in with the war wizards. I just look kind of sad at the idea that I might have to bring justice to my family and possibly see them executed.
Being the head of house and the de facto ruler of Marsemba has never been on your agenda. And yet one must do one's responsibility.
Indeed. Well, hopefully that is the last we see of him for a while.
Yeah, because we're not going to be back here for a while.
Well, consider us your agents, milady.
I consider you my friends.
We must be. Politics will be getting thick. I reckon. You're going to have to get used to clandestine conversations. You might have to act as a double agent when you go home. Can you do such a task?
A double agent? You talking to me?
Aye. You can't go bloody home and tell them exactly what we're up to, can you?
No.
We're all locked up and we'll be fighting your family.
I cannot
gonna-
inform them. This is true. Though I've sworn an oath never to purposefully speak that which is false, I can, of course, not speak at all.
We're going to have to be coming up with a plan of the story we'd be telling.
Sure, we will think of something.
Lady Princess, any recommendations on how we can be a double agent as we move across your enemy's lands?
I would suggest dressing plainly. The more tasks you accomplish, the more distinct your descriptors become, particularly when you travel with such illustrious company, says looking over Finnick and Flightless.
Yes, we are far from subtle.
What story should we be spinning when we go to Lady Eleanor's folks looking for Vaughn?
Perhaps you would not want to be so direct at all. Kaladne can supply you with the address of Vaughn's house, Artemis' house, and perhaps from there you can stage your arrest, striking before the Velarunes even realize you are in their city.
I have to agree. I would prefer to avoid my family altogether for now.
We cannot take Marsemba yet, and I do not think that opening up a second front there is necessary yet. May be premature. Indeed, it would only cause the civil war to truly mature. Skirmishes would become city against city. Best then that such provocations are left for a later date, when we can move on to not just cleansing the city of its seditious elements, but also taking the false throne from the usurper, Jasna the Seeker.
Yes, that day
Then we'd
will
be off
come.
to save a dragon then.
So I imagine the dragon will have retreated to its lair or is on the way there.
I'm talking about the bronze crazy
Ah,
one.
yes. Well, we'll be heading north. We can attempt to cure him on the way.
Frankly, I do not think that I am the best to advise you on this. Your competence is already obvious. Your expertise diverse. I feel very confident that you will come up with your own solution to these issues.
Very well. If it pleases you, Your Highness, we will do all we can.
It pleases me greatly.
I'll offer a bow.
Surprised Moog hasn't offered to please her greatly yet.
She doesn't have a beard.
Ha!
She only likes dwarves.
Marry me, Alistair.
Another unwanted suitor.
So what's our plan
She likes-
sequencing events here? We're going to deal with the bronze dragon, then we're going to go to deal with the barbarians, and then we're going to go to Marsember. Is that sort of the order of operations?
Unless we can,
Marsember's closest.
right, unless we can find out where Vaughn is.
They can supply you the address that, first of all, they can supply you the address of where they suspect him to be. She can then scry on him, and he's not protected by non-detection, so she confirms that he is indeed in the town in Marsemba. They've got like a multi-story house there, a 4-story tall, very modern house, and it's in that modern house that he is residing.
So bronze dragon, Vaughn, then the barbarians.
Vaughn, Bronze Dragon, then Barbarians. We have to go west. East to get to Marsemba. I think it's just a day's travel ish, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And then from Marsemba, once we've dealt with Vaughn, if we arrest him, I assume that we'd bring him back, or we'd have someone else do it. Either way, after that, we'll then head north to the dragon, which is right here, and deal with that one way or another, and then continue heading north to deal with the barbarians.
Unless we need to get money for that.
Yeah, if
Somewhere
we
in
do
there,
need
we
to get
go
money,
and loot the deep dragon's horde.
yeah,
Oh, I
we'll
was hoping
be
to say
further
before
north.
we left the throne room, Finnick's going to do one of his weird things. He's going to do,
Sure.
you know, that weird bow where you like bow forward without bending your knees. Say Finnick, Baron Finnick, Slayer of Dragons, and then turn on his heels and leave.
Baron of
Yeah.
where?
Ah, yes, Your Highness. I must admit, with talk of other matters, it slipped my mind, but my acquaintance Finnick there has come into possession of documentation which appears to be legal, although I'm sure you can peruse it if you like, which entitles him to a barony.
Entitles him. And,
According to the documentation, Highness, but of course your authority is greater than that.
And in whose name?
Whose name was it?
She looks at the documents. My
Remember some
father's.
lady.
This is legal. I can see that names have been altered, but that was done legally as well. You truly are a baron. Well, my lady, I did not realize that you traveled with one who outranked you.
I can imagine like the embarrassment just suddenly hits like a train.
Eyes just blinking.
oh shit. She's right.
Is that a joke though, or is that sincere? Because as far as I'm aware,
Yeah.
out of character, barons are the lowest rung of nobility.
No,
besides
it
knights.
goes Lord, Barons, Dukes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, counts are above barons, and so
Counts, I forgot about them.
yeah, if you are the head of your house, Lady Eleanor, then you would outrank him. But because you're not the head of your house, you don't.
I think it's because you're unlanded at the moment.
Yeah, I think like at best, my title would be like knight or something. I don't think I would have any
Precisely.
particular title.
That's it.
Finnick
yeah.
didn't know he outranked Lady Eleanor. So as he's leaving, he's going, Come, my vassal, we leave!
Fetch my bags.
Perfect.
Give you one of the darkest stares you've ever seen.
Fetch my boots.
So you said it's Lord, Baron, Duke, Count? Is
No,
that
no,
how it
count comes before duke. Yeah. Typically, like a lord is well, before lords you have like unlanded knights, what we call not a hedge knight, but yeah, basically an unlanded noble.
I think it's like closer to this, isn't it?
Oh,
Then
yeah, so on
yeah,
the
there we go. That's perfect. Yeah,
yeah, I was gonna
like
say,
just like that.
I was looking
So
at
many
the
titles, I
nobility
lose
chart on
track of them.
the Forgotten Realms wiki,
Oh, perfect. Well, that's even more
which is
perfect. Yeah.
which
Oh my
according
God.
to that chart on, for Cormia, it is from lowest to highest: knight, baronet, baron, viscount, earl, marquis, duke, prince, king.
Yeah, cool.
Quite a few ranks.
The Marquis.
I think the difference between an earl and a marquis is that marquises have dominion over realms which border other realms, and thus, since they're responsible for border security, they're given a higher importance.
Right. I had no idea of that. Yeah. Yeah. This actually makes them like the warden of the West or whatever.
Mm,
Yeah. And dukes are generally related to the royal family one way or the other. Not always, though.
yeah. What position would my father hold? Viscount or count?
Marsemba would have to be like, I would even think a duke, maybe. Marsemba's a massive city.
True. I think
And
if I recall correctly, uh, I think Marsember is even technically a city-state according to the law, and it has a
is it
grand
really?
duke.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, of course, this can be altered. It's your game after all.
It's never been important. I've never intended anyone to ever go to Marsemba. But since we have a
Off
party
we
member
go.
from there, exactly right. Since we have a party member from there, it seems logical to draw it in, and yeah, use as much of the lore as we care to investigate. But yeah, it's appropriate for your family to be of extremely high importance. Um, Given that the usurper has chosen your city as their head of base of operations, it all kind of makes sense that people who rule there would be very important people.
It also makes sense that it'd be a city-state, seeing as it's somewhat removed from the rest of Cormia.
Yeah,
Not
It's,
entirely, but more so than other cities.
To make myself feel more royal now that I'm higher rank than him, I'm going to ride the dragon out.
brilliant.
What is your
the dragon
title?
is proud to be.
Baron.
Nice. Baron Finnick.
Baron Finnick. More important than Lady Eleanor at the current moment.
So I guess we go cloak and dagger, so we don't look like a royal party.
Yeah,
However, you grab it. I don't know how high we hide these ourselves with the different races, but
it's a good question. We probably should discuss it because, like, if even a casual inspection of a bird wearing a cloak is going to reveal his feathers.
Okay, well, I mean,
Yeah, we are
I do have
pretty,
the hat of disguise,
Now we're talking.
but
we
before
are
we,
pretty distinctive.
because it probably wasn't the moment to talk about it, but he'll probably write
Sure.
up a letter with
Yeah.
to ask for like if there's some sort of like membership of like the War Wizards that Flightless could like join, because like he's not a wizard, but he is an arcane scholar. He's going to describe himself as an arcane scholar, or at least a student of the arcane.
I would be honored to offer to initiate you into the War Wizards.
I suppose another piece, like, is there some sort of oath or something?
Technically, there's like a whole schooling system. You'll essentially be given what's you know how honorary doctorates are sometimes given out to accomplished people who never actually got educated in their field.
I think so.
Yeah, it happens anyway.
Well, you know, like
so
Shakespeare walks in, you're like, dude, you don't know anything about, you don't have a PhD.
Right,
you
yeah,
just
that's
turn
right.
up to him and just like, and he just looks at you, gives you that look.
Here's your Bachelor of Arts, Shakespeare. You've earned it.
Yeah, it's like you might get somewhere now.
You're right. You can now get a job. Yeah, so just like that, but there would absolutely be oaths, you know, like absolutely. They would be in regard to the things you would expect them to be, you know,
Yeah, like
protecting
loyal
the crown
to
and so on.
yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, he'll take those
Yeah.
like oaths. Like from what he's heard from Eleanor, you know, a completely trustworthy source. Cormier's a good place.
Yeah.
And I suppose if they have time, they can discuss the arcane, because I'm actually curious what her modifier would be. So can he try to gauge that with his own arcana?
Yeah, absolutely. She got plus 13.
Flightless has plus 12. Like he's almost as good.
Almost as good, almost as specialized as the highest mage in the country.
So that's probably a bit of a surprise that they start talking about magic, and he's can almost go as deep.
Mm.
And I suppose they talk about magic for a bit while everyone packs up with this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the most fascinating things for her would be the plague of blue fire. Her sources suggest that it has, if not originated in Mithranor, then it at least is most prolific in Mithranor. So she refers to that as the epicenter of the infection, and she personally believes it's also the source of the infection, ground zero. While there's always adventurers scrambling in and out of Mithranor on, you know, any particular month of any particular year, the chaotic events of the year of Rogue Dragons this year and of the year of Wild Magic previously, it means that she's just not as aware of what's going on in Mithranor as she might have been during her days when she was nothing but an adventurer.
And
But that's her theory anyway.
if the young adventurers go in, get this blue fire that just it seemingly gives them more powers, they're unlikely to go and try to get it fixed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a really interesting point to make. That anyone who's bold and power hungry and stupid enough to go to Mithranor in the first place is probably going to think that blue fire is a blessing.
It's like, ooh, I'm level 1, like the level 0 commoner goes and gets hit with the blue fire, becomes like a wild magic sorcerer.
It's exactly what's happening.
I suppose, and also to go into the specifics of the his anti-magic theory on whether or not it would cure it.
She thinks that it's the best theory she's heard because she hasn't heard any good theories so far. More to the point is that nothing seems to work. Everything that she has heard is that it's incurable and that it's getting worse.
And magic seems to be throwing wood on the fire.
Yeah. So the best efforts are making things worse.
And he'll ask for directions to the Temple of Mistress.
And that can be found here in the city. Although it has likely suffered extensive damage, and yet probably not as much damage as anywhere else. It's going to be protected. A High Temple of Mistral should be a place that...
Because he can recall the conversation with the Netherese, and just basically, I guess repeat that, basically saying, it's not our job to fix the magic, but it is somebody's job. and we think if anyone's job is to fix magic, it must be the followers of Mistra.
Sure. Being associates of the princess, important folk, even in a time like this, you'd be able to get hold of some pretty important people within the Temple of Mistra. If you want to basically put the blame on some high priests and
It's not blame, it's just, can you do anything about this? Like, what does Mistra say? Because I think if anyone can say Mistra's thoughts on this topic, it would be the High Priest of Mistra.
They describe it like a ripple, or perhaps an earthquake. They still see it as a effect of the year of wild magic, which was last year, and they believe that it's just going to peter out, given enough time, that the plague will eventually run out of steam. They admit that the evidence doesn't back up this theory. According to the evidence, it's just getting stronger. There are more people with the infection. The dragon falling out of the sky is about as good a poignant point as could possibly be made. But all the same, they're holding on to their hypotheses, and that is that the worst of it, that it will eventually pass as it runs out of steam. The ebb of wild magic will take the strength out of it, the wind out of its sail.
So I guess they're just saying it'll disappear on its own.
That's what they believe. You've got an enormous insight, haven't you?
Oh yeah. I can
They're
roll
just a bunch of, they're right now. They're a bunch of priests and not a bunch of scientists, and so priests tend to support the status quo, and they tend to really hate things that they can't control or understand. And
I suppose they get quite upset if he tries to insist on a direct quote from Mistra. Have they tried connecting? Not connect, communing, I guess.
they could cast a commune for you. Yeah, if you want to come up with something that you want to ask Mistra, they'll as a favor to the princess, they'll cast it for you.
I'll have to quickly look up that spell to see what it does.
Yeah.
It gives you
Thank
3
you, man.
questions or something, or just 1.
Up to
3.
3.
I just threw it up in the chat.
Yes
there.
or no?
Yeah. So yeah, one word answers are what you can expect.
Guess they could also try that one.
Because I'll try.
Yeah.
Because I'll try to make them directly yes, no. But if it would be misleading, they could also choose a short phrase instead.
Yeah. It's taxing for their powers, but they will do this for you.
I was
I'm
thinking of
also,
doing that as well, but
taking suggestions.
Suggestions of what to ask.
Yeah,
Will the scroll work?
Will an anti-magic field?
Yes.
Right.
That's it.
Is that your question? And if so, then word it exactly.
What about would exposure to an anti-magic field?
Will an anti-magic field
permanently
be
cure
an effective cure against the blue fire? Or would an anti-magic field?
Is that your question?
Are we happy with that wording?
Don't say would, will.
Is there
I
any
would
real
say will
difference?
in it. I don't know. Could, woulda, coulda. I don't know. One is more specific.
Okay, I guess we'll go with will. Will an anti-magic field be an effective cure against the blue fire?
Temporarily.
So it would suppress it. I guess the second one, is there a permanent cure to the blue fire? We happy with that one?
Yeah.
I mean, death is a permanent cure to the blue fire.
Okay, other than death, is there a
Yeah.
permanent cure to the blue fire?
Yeah, try that.
Other than death, is there a permanent cure to the blue fire?
Is the Lost Prince in the Honor Rock Desert?
You try that for the third one, depending on what the answer to this is.
Yeah, it's a question. It's hard to say. Aside from death, is there
I'm not,
permanent
that's
cure
not
to the
even.
blue
I just
fire?
realised that's a bad
Other
question.
than death, is there a permanent cure to the blue
Because reincarnate, I mean, that might cure it.
True.
You gotta be dead before you can be reincarnated, don't you?
I suppose that covers the
Yes.
coming back to life. Also, there is actually yes.
The answer is
I suppose. No, last question. I'm just struggling with how to phrase it. Like, you know, is such a cure within our grasp to make, manufacture, or something like that? Because, like, a permanent cure could just be the blue fire will dissipate in 3 days, in which case there's nothing we can do about it.
Mm. Thinking.
Hmm.
So the answer to the second question was a yes, was it?
Yes.
Hmm.
Is the permanent cure to the blue fire within the reach of mortals to create and distribute? And
Is that the question?
I suppose he's writing it down and handing it to Eleanor, so she
Yeah.
could.
Yeah, write it down.
I mean, for like, there's like he's probably just writing these specific sentences, so the group can like
Yeah.
say if they're good or
It's the
not.
only way he can discuss it. Understand. Is that the question?
Any objections?
Can't think of anything better.
Okay, so he'll hand that question to the priest on the piece of paper.
No.
Oof.
I guess the room I guess the mood of the room like drastically falls when the.
It's like Parliament when Parliament erupts and everyone's like, "Whoa, rhubarb, 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 rhubarb!" Right? It just it'd be
I guess Flightless
sus for
like
us guys
visibly
anyway.
deflates.
Well, if there's no cure, then it will just take over the entire world. Have you no faith in Mister? She will provide a cure.
It just looks to Eleanor for like, I guess, guidance. Me.
I'm looking pretty equally crestfallen.
Perhaps the cure is time.
not a very
Could
useful
be.
herb, but it tastes good. And now we're all the despair Wojang.
Hmm. Well, given this new information, it would seem that it'd be more effective to go ahead and create this quarantine colony on Wyvern water rather than attempt the cure. And I guess we can only hope that time either, well, I suppose time will tell it one way, or if it doesn't fade, then the plague will consume the life of the infected. A regrettable outcome, but one that is beyond our power.
Why
I'll
are we
figure-
bothering putting them on an island?
To keep them from infecting the rest of the realm.
Can't the soldiers just keep them contained?
It would be easier on an island because they can't just leave.
Dragon.
Well, the island is not going to make any difference to the dragon. He'll just fly away if he wants to.
True. Which is why we're under
Maybe
orders
you
to.
temporarily cure the
ban it.
dragon. Maybe you can help figure it out. Through the skin.
Like,
Let's
it would
get on
seem
that
that
Let's go to
if the
Mark.
anti-magic field doesn't cure the dragon, then the only absolute way to be sure that it's not going to spread the infection is to kill it.
Yes. While it's an
That's why
honorable
we put it
creature,
on the
I don't
island.
think it'll allow us to just kill it.
Well, no, I wouldn't expect it to allow us to kill it.
That was not my proposal, my lady.
All right, let's be Marcember. Cloak and dagger style.
I suppose we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If we're going to Marsember, then we'll need so suitable guises, I suppose you could say, as we are very identifiable.
Wait, but real quick, sorry. But
Yeah.
so within reach of the mortals, what about immortals like liches and such? Can we still look to them? And dragons, I don't know, things that aren't classed as mortals might have the cure.
The gods could provide the cure, I'm sure.
I don't
But
believe either
would-
liches or gods would be interested in speaking or helping with us. Speaking or helping us.
Good gods would.
I think the good god's allowed to actually help.
Yeah, perhaps, but if it were something they could proverbially reach from the heavens and fix, I'm sure they would have done so.
Feels like the overall cure is beyond our reach. We can probably deal with the dragon, and the Arabelle guards should be able to deal with keeping because there weren't that many people in that town that were infected, keeping those people quarantined until they die or until it passes.
Let's go arrest Vaughn.
Yes, let's proceed to Marsember and then we'll decide what to do when the time comes.
All right. Well, here we are in the capital city, and while it is a war zone, that's not to say that it isn't still a well-stocked city, because it is. For all the looting, for all the plunder, for all the violence, for the exorbitant prices that you're going to have to pay, the place still has a lot of resources, not the least of which are those of the war wizards. And with a war wizard of our own now, well, we have the ability to purchase from them, although they are also open to the public. So yeah, whether it's full plate armor or a wand of magic missiles or new horseshoes or a 50-foot of rope, you can find it here in Suzale, probably easier than you could in a smaller town that is not being terrorized by extra-dimensional dragon riders. And does anyone want anything? Flightless mentioned that he already has a hat of disguise, which is going to be helpful.
Yes, something like that would be quite useful. How much are hats of disguise?
You'll probably have to check the book. You can buy them right now, normally 2,000, but due to the war, 4,000. If you can find one of the books, one of the two books that we use, find that price and quadruple it, and that's what they're being sold for. And if that's too much effort, then 4,000.
But it is winter, so we could just put a lot of clothes on, right?
That's
Or-
legit. It's pretty chilly.
Won't
So-
disguise the
Self-planned, by the
silhouette
way.
of a rabbit, though.
We're going to walk in and be your disguise.
Full
We're going to
cloaks.
actually go up and talk to him.
Well, hopefully they tell us exactly where he is by the time we get there.
They can provide you with his address, so that's pretty comprehensive.
Because I've got a dumb idea that I think would be pretty funny.
Fantastic.
I think we should go in. Lady Eleanor could pretend to be my bodyguard, and I could be the new Baron. Potentially come to pledge new allegiance. Just come to see what the perks are.
Not a bad idea, although he might struggle to believe you because you're a rabbit.
Yeah, they do have the documentation, and it is signed by the right people.
True. Yeah, I suppose
Sounds
it's
like
not
a
a bad
good plan
idea.
to
Like,
me.
You could just cover your face with a helmet. Then you just look like any other Cormyrian knight.
true, my glowing golden hair and my eyes are easier to hide than the silhouette of a birdman, rabbit man.
Yeah, and when they question the Birdman, it's like you're questioning my wizard. It's like you don't even want this alliance.
It's not so much that he stands out, it's that he stands out and identifies us as a pretty well-known party at this point.
I mean, it's not like I'm with the rest of the party. I mean, it's not like Phoenix openly announced his allegiance to anyone. Most people probably don't even know he's a Baron.
Probably not, no. I think one look at either me or Flightless would probably link their thoughts to our party. I'm not sure how famous Nogue would be. Shuldaran's a relatively recent addition, so he'd probably be fine. Still, better to be safe than sorry.
I'm not openly announcing myself as a Baron and being like, take me to your leader. The most important person has arrived.
Sounds like a great idea. Perfect reason for Baron to talk to Bond. Is he a count? What is Bond?
Isn't the plan to then arrest him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Might allow us into his abode on the pretext of talking, and then once we're inside, reveal our true identities and apprehend him.
Right. But then it would just be the two of you against whatever else is in there with him. I don't imagine he's going to come quietly.
Imagine not. Once things cough, so to speak, sure that you'll be able to forcibly gain entry.
I mean, we could try to bring as many people in as possible, because he'll be my bodyguard, and I'll be insistent upon being a holy man, and my cleric's got to be with me. Don't go nowhere without my cleric. You never know when you're going to be died and need that revivify. I mean, got to keep spiritual.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
That's my plan. If you guys have another one, I don't mind going with that one.
It's as good a plan as I've heard so far. It's better than just kicking the front door. I mean, it's pretty
Sweet.
close to kicking in the front door. But it's at least it's a little bit more intricate.
But it gets you to the front door, which is good. It gets you to the front door legitimately, and then you can kick it in.
Yeah.
Can we head to a tailor then? I want to have some Cormyrian symbols added to my outfit and a pair of long ears to be my house signet added to my outfit as well.
Oh,
Just make
absolutely.
myself look more lordy, more to the
you can
role of a baron.
You can spend 50 gold pieces and look like a cheap-ass lord, 500 gold and look the part, and 5,000 gold and upstage even the princess herself.
Will they take adamantine?
Will they ever?
I'll hand them a block of adamantine then.
Brilliant. And they make you exactly what you're after. And in my mind, are you familiar with Sergeant Pepper's, the Beatles album? Like I'm imagining Finnick dressing up like Sergeant Pepper. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I'll recommend Finnick a tailor in the city that I use personally.
Very good, very good. They make exactly what you want. Warzone be damned. I'm an artist here.
I'm gonna add one fancy outfit to my inventory.
The fanciest.
Great. Not used to being Cormorian Lord. Lady Eleanor, what else do I need? Dress the part?
Well, you have your documentation, but typically a noble will have a signet ring. Perhaps you can have one forged.
Go
Down
get
to
me
the
one
smith.
tonight.
See if they can quickly make me one.
Absolutely. The cheapest copper or brass trinket will cost you 25 gold, and you could spend thousands on this if you wanted to.
I will, because this is going to be my permanent outfit now, I will also hand over a block of adamantine for this.
Brilliant. A 1,500 gold piece ring is magnificent. You can decide what the material is, whether it's platinum or gold, and what jewels are in place, and all of this. It's all up to you.
I'll probably just have it as fancy at the moment, and then I'll, maybe at the end of the session, I'll go into more detail.
Absolutely. Yeah, no worries at all, man. You will see that there is a special on wagons right now. People are selling nice coaches for as little as 2,000 gold pieces.
I've got to have one of those, right, to fit the part?
You need a coach.
Need a coach. Have enough horses, right? Yes, I will also buy one of those.
Very good. For the low price of one block of adamantine and one block of mithril, 2,000 gold pieces, you now have a coach that is specifies to your standards, whether you want shuttered windows or glass ones, whether you want bright wheels or the whole thing to just be a matte black. The designs are made to your specifications.
Sweet. So it's just going to be one of those fancy closed ones with curtains, and mostly inside's just going to be loads of pillows and comfortableness.
You are
Lots of cushions
pimping.
and stuff.
You are like the Count of Monte Cristo, right? You just walk up into Sue's Ale, and everybody starts talking about this strange baron from the frontier, the most eligible bachelor in Sue's Ale. Did you know that he protected the Queen himself, Princess Regent herself? It's said that if he had have only drunk his speed potion, he would have one-shotted the dragon.
Yes. Does Eleanor wear a cloak?
A cloak, I guess of sorts.
Sweet. So I guess I'll buy another really fancy cloak with my emblem and just give that to Lady Eleanor to wear to sell the part. Being my bodyguard.
Lady Eleanor, does that just feel even more humiliating now that you are being patronized by the rabbit?
Certainly
It's
does.
to sell the part. I want the cloak back once we're done.
Well, but although I am loath to remove my own cloak and wear this one, it does help sell the part. And the last thing I'd want is for us to be discovered prematurely before we can arrest Vaughn.
How nefarious you have become, Lady Eleanor.
Although you've snooped, you would have Snoop really low too. Lock, do you want one too?
What was that?
I was just saying, do you want
Yeah.
to stoop down too?
I'll take
What, to
fancy
rabbit
clothes.
hide?
But
Doesn't offend my prickly pride.
I'll give another adamantine so that Locke can have one too.
Honestly, it suits Sildarin. You know, the rabbit is an appropriate sigil. Wow. Well, that's good. We're decked out now, or at least some of us are, in our stage coaches and our fancy gear.
Anything else I need to look noble?
Just make sure you look down on all the common folk.
I was thinking the same
Yes.
thing. I'm like, contempt? Would you like to bring some contempt?
So I'll purchase some contempt.
Brilliant. It smells delicious, but it's bitter.
Hmm.
All right. And so we are able to hit the road. Now, the plan is this. We've been given the location of the high-rise building, Artemis House, which is where Vaughn lives, where he resides in Marsemba. As we know, his true realm is up here in Winterhaven, Shadowfell Keep, and he's a long way away from there. But like so many nobles before him, he's happy to enjoy the thrill of the city, particularly right now when Marsemba is poised to become as important a city as Suzail, if one dynasty should fall and a new one be risen. So we know where we're going. We basically know what we're doing. We're setting up a ruse to get to the front door. What happens when we reach the front door? Violence?
I suppose if we can get a meeting alone with him, with his particular band of bodyguards and my particular band of bodyguards, that's what I will be aiming for.
That would be the ideal situation. Yeah, very good. And you won't have to carve your way through 20 or 30 different household guards if you can kill him in the boardroom. Good idea.
Well, we intend to arrest him, or are we killing him?
Oh yeah, that's a good distinction to make here and now. We say looking at Moog.
I believe it'd be better for him to be arrested and questioned and good intelligence found.
I'm quite happy to arrest him, then drag him back to Zusail and have the war wizards probe his mind for info.
And it is arrest.
Very good. The decision is unanimous.
That up to the
Alright.
people who can actually do that.
Indeed.
Mogul stay with the vehicles as the getaway, keeping the carts ready as the servant. Moog's
Yes.
not
Oh,
wearing
yeah.
there's no bunny gear on Moog. He's just wearing furs over his stuff.
Perfect. Bunny furs?
No.
Sad face.
Fitting of a dwarf.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great that we've got a getaway driver. This is a heist at this point. We've transcended the adventure. All right. Sildarin, could you please roll a d30?
Did we rest before we set out? Is that
I
curiosity?
imagine so. Yeah, it's up to you. You know, certainly are able to set out before if you want to, but
Finnick had a fair bit of shopping to do, so
right,
Yeah, I can imagine we might have spent the day.
absolutely. You're not going to buy all this gear and not try it on. That'd be a crime.
Walk around town. Look at me, I'm so important.
Precisely.
have your new bodyguards thrash some peasants.
Perfect.
He looked at me funny, beat him, Sildarin. I mean, Locke.
Mhm.
This is not going to go to Finnick's head, I promise you.
Ha. Everybody is absolutely confident. You'll not abuse your power. So we travelled along the road, and we're still in friendly country. So it is that when we're looking for a place to stay, we we reach a small town that doesn't actually have an inn. It has a tavern though, but no inn. And people will sleep wherever they can around here, like in barns or billet with various people. But you happen to know some people here, Lady Eleanor, a noble family who you probably had good relations with. They might be your cousins or something like that. And so, if you wish, you could get accommodation at the castle instead of having to rough it out in substandard accommodation.
This could be the test of my disguise. Maybe it's best not to announce yourself, Lady Eleanor, because the word might travel ahead of us. It's up to you.
Perhaps it's best to learn their allegiance first. It's true they're very close to Suzail, but if they've thrown their lot in with the war wizards, we wouldn't want to associate with them.
Ooh. Since we're at the town, I'll send someone up to announce my arrival. Whoever just basically, I just say, could someone go announce my arrival?
Oh,
To whoever just fancies it.
yeah, and it's a bit of a song and dance, bit of a fuss. People are quite interested, quite intrigued. When they see that it is a rabbit, they think that it's all a big joke, and they like the joke. They think it's a good joke, but they think it's a joke all the same. Like
Would this feature help a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Maybe there are a couple of people who take it somewhat seriously. But you know how here sometimes we like elect dogs to mayors or make a cat the chief officer of a train station, stuff like that. People are like, oh, this is cool, this is funny, but they don't actually take it seriously for the most part. Although the sages and clergymen and other people who are in the know, ironically, might be more believing of your tall tale than the average commoner. All right, so here we arrive in our town, and in this village at least, and people are really excited and eager to see us. Everybody wants to know us and wants to buy us a drink. Do we settle down in the tavern, or I guess it wouldn't take very long before you were invited to the castle. The local nobility are not going to allow a strange and exotic persona to come into their village and not at least have a chance to brag about it.
That's the aim. Head up to the castle.
Should mention that in addition to the cloak that Finnick gave me, I was going to say that I was going to buy a full face helm. I'm not sure if I already have one or not, but if I don't, then I would make sure I do, and I'd make sure I'm wearing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I pay for it, can it look like a rabbit head?
Oh!
Ah, damn it.
The Baron finds that there are limits to his power.
All right. Driver and hangs out with the cart and the vehicles as the servant.
You're filling into your role pretty well there, Moog. Like, you do the common well really well. The common man really well. Yeah.
There you go. He's the grumpy servant.
The token dwarf.
The 90-year-old dwarf that's pissed off all the time.
All the time. All right. So you settle down, and you head up to the castle, and your arrival is a prestigious and fortuitous and beloved event. And And the nobles here put themselves at your disposal. Not only are they lower ranked than you, but they're also very polite about it. They have their own castle, which is nice, but they don't seem to have much else. Their household guard is not particularly big. The weapons and armor that they bear is not particularly modern, but they keep it all in relatively good shape. It's quite clean, quite well maintained, but it's relatively obvious to anyone with an eye for it that these are not the wealthiest people among the nobility. Anyway, the lady here is named Vilma Kaur, and she has 3 daughters. The daughters curtsy very politely and avoid eye contact, and Vilma herself is warm and hospitable. And a meal is served almost as soon as you arrive, and as you sit around the table, Vilma Kaur wants to know your story. Oh, I was unaware that they had opened up the nobility to people, non-humans, if I might use that word. Am I able to use that word? Is that offensive? And she's sort of looking at her daughters. And they're not really sure. Non-humans? Can I say that?
No, it is fine. From Rabbiter, and I do not mind. I take no offence. Such
Right.
words should not hurt someone such a rank as mine, otherwise it would make me look small and petty.
Oh, video. Where's that? Oh, Mum, it's Mother. It is near Mount Rosrana, at the edge of the Stonelands and Gloriana. Oh, a northerner. You hold our northern border, then, do you, Baron?
Yes. Just
And-
after those dwarfs in the valley, I can't remember the town name.
And who are you, dear? She says, looking at Locke. I bet you have a tale or two to tell. Looking at Sildren.
Just a humble priest, my lady.
Oh, would you mind offering a prayer over our meal before we begin?
So I'll say a few words in Elvish.
What would
Perhaps
those
something
words be?
along the lines of, please make this silly woman be quiet.
And one of the daughters giggles and she chastises her. That was lovely. Thank you very much. The fare is relatively humble. They have fish and pork and bread and a nice pumpkin and pea soup. But it's it's nothing special. It's the sort of food that would be served in a reasonably priced inn. Um, but she's very generous and very gracious in it, and quite liberal with the wine. Though you do hear one of the servants telling her during the meal that the cellars are now empty. That was our last bottle. Bring the juice then instead. And So it's a pleasant meal. And she's very interested in all of you, really. Um, but um, but there's but throughout the whole time, there's a certain embarrassment as she apologizes perhaps one too many times for the fact that you're using a steel plates instead of silver plates, and that there's no apple sauce for the pork, and so on. Maybe just a little bit too apologetic.
That's fine. Nick won't mind because he'll be very apologetic, but he won't be eating the meat as he's a rabbit. He just eats vegetables.
I'm afraid we don't have a very wide range of vegetables here. Uh, I I do
It's
hope
fine, I
some
can-
lettuce and carrot will suffice.
That was suffice very well. It is my fault. I came with shorter notice. Didn't give much notice of my arrival.
Oh, you are too kind, Baron. The Baron, I should wonder if you were seeking some ornaments for your hall, or perhaps even some equipment for your elite forces.
I will take a look.
Well, you
Once we
see,
have
we have these suits of armor, and she indicates not rusty but dusty suits of full plate that are standing to attention all around the room. There's 6 of them. As you can see, they are not garnering much use at the moment, and well, Michelin needs a dowry, and as does Dawn and Donessa. All my daughters need dowries. It's particularly hard to find a husband in times like this. Mother, the girls are a little bit disturbed by the frankness of her statement. And
Fides usque
we would
mortem.
be willing to part with this perfectly serviceable suits of armor for a discount price. I should think that 500 gold pieces per suit would be fair.
Do they have like the Cormorant symbols on them?
Yeah.
Yes, I will purchase those off of you.
Oof.
I don't have gold, but I do have adamantine. We can do trade values.
Adamantine? What's that?
A block of rare minerals worth a lot.
It's very expensive, Mother. It's worth more than platinum. More than platinum? Oh, well, I can hardly refuse such a gracious offer. So yeah, for 2 blocks of platinum, you can get 6 suits of full plate.
There's only 6.
Yeah, there's only 6. Yeah, 500 gold piece each.
I will purchase them. Give that.
Michelin and Dawn, I do believe that this will be enough to secure dowries for both of you. What about Danessa, Mother? She's almost of marrying age as well. Oh, well... Oh, uh, have you announced your name yet, Sildarin? Did you give a name, or are you just priest?
No, just a humble priest I would have introduced myself as.
Blessed one, perhaps you could take a look at an infection that my younger daughter is displaying. Mother, I fear that its peculiarities might drive off potential suitors. And if you had a few prayers for her, perhaps you could cleanse her of this affliction.
I can certainly take a look.
Daughter doesn't like this at all. Mother, there's nothing wrong with me. Oh, but there is. It's 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 obvious to all. There's nothing wrong with me, Mother. I have power. I didn't have power before. Watch! And she covers herself with a wave of blue fire that dissipates and shimmers and vanishes as the mage armor spell takes hold.
I thought she was going to be cursed with the because I said the disease. But no, never mind.
Oh, she's just contracted the spell plague from somewhere.
I'm a sorceress now, Mother, and I am proud of my powers. She clicks her fingers dramatically and then teleports across the room and appears behind her mother and takes some food right from her plate. Oh, you're positively a monster, and when we have guests here as well. As you can see, it's not only infected her body, it's also given her a rebellious streak. I don't want to be cured. I like my powers.
Well, you may be in luck. 'Cause curing what ails you is beyond my powers.
Oh no, she'll never find a husband. Who needs men when you've got magic?
Perhaps some might be more interested now.
I hope not.
Perhaps never. This particular affliction, I'll say, speaking up for the first time since we entered, is contagious.
Oh no! Then you'll have to be confined to your room, dear. Confine this, mother. She clicks her fingers and teleports. Oh,
Do you know where your daughter became ill, or when?
I'm afraid that I do not. Oh, is there nothing that can be done, Blessed One?
Not so far as we know. Fear that this plague comes from the gods, and they may have to rid us of it in the end.
Then let us pray to the gods, for that is the only cure.
Are there others in the town similarly afflicted?
Oh, I think there are a few.
Plague is more widespread than I thought.
Oh, how terrible. Please do not tell anyone that as this house bears the plague. I couldn't bear to have that on my reputation.
I fear it will become much more common.
And with that quote, I think it's an appropriate time for us to end the session and say goodbye once again to the Dales.
So looking forward to the next session.
Farewell, the Dales. It's been a good one. See you next week.
See you.